A very good morning. Welcome to Gothenburg for the second day of the Longines FEI European Driving Championships. It's marathon day, the day the city will come alive here on the west coast of Sweden. Gothenburg, the venue. Weather's not bad at the moment. It's cloudy, but thankfully we haven't got showers at the moment, so that'll be great news for the spectators, although judging by that weather forecast, it looks a little bit iffy. But this is the program with the order of go for the marathon determined by yesterday's dressage, with the worst score going first. And that honour befalls Anthony Horn. But now with the 21 starters, as you see towards the end, we get to some of the big names who've dominated marathon championships in previous years and driving championships in previous year. And last to go after a brilliant dressage test yesterday will be the Dutch driver Theo Timmerman. It's a Dutch 1-2 as far as the individual is concerned. They also are dominating the team competition. And this is what will confront them. The first section where they have to get to the main test area through the streets of Gothenburg, this picturesque city, then to the big park that has been transformed into the driving capital of the world today. That's where they will end up, end of section A. Then they have the transfer through then to then get at this stage in the park before they are then confronted with the course of obstacles through this delightful park, which is very much in the heart of the city, viewed very much as the garden of the residents of Gothenburg. And there is the first of the obstacles that they will be confronted with. And this very compact area where they will find the obstacles, because it is a park that has been specially created in terms of a driving course, and it is one they have to take great care of, but they've created these fabulous obstacles. There will be the first. Then, as you can see, they then move to where there's a great clump of obstacles in one compact area, and that's going to be great for the spectators. This is the second, the one and only with water, as they come through, and there is the routes, and there are some knockdowns, not in this one, but later, and there's the expected route, and the drivers have been out, well, into the wee small hours and checking their routes and getting an idea of what they're going to be confronted with, and it really will be a little maze that they will be negotiating over the next few hours. And then they head through to the next obstacle, obstacle number 3, which again will be a real test for one and all. And everyone has got their unique identity as they come through. And the sort of general perception is that this is a course that will require precision, but is designed to be done at speed. But that's why it's been designed in such a way as that the drivers will always be concerned as then they take the route back to obstacle number 4. And again, it is an absolutely delightful area. They're making some special spectator areas at all and stands for people to enjoy. And here, this is the route for the 4th of the 8 obstacles that they will be expected. There are a number of knockdowns that can cause, well, will be the thing that will be at the back of the driver's mind to make sure that they don't pick any extra penalties. And that is very much the design. Just caution, because it looks fast, but the way it's been designed, they've added these little bits of, well, drama, and making sure that the driver can't go hell for leather and then find a costly error along the way. This is obstacle number 5. Again, it's very tight, and we'll sort as we're halfway through the test here. Coming back out through the in-out area. And again, you just get a sense of how much of part of the city from our animation of exactly where we are. Now on to obstacle number 6. Again, in obstacle number 6, no knockdowns in this particular one.
Hej
But again,
Mattias,
a
hör
lot
du
of
mig
them are
bra?
on gradients as
Yeah.
well, which you can't actually
fattar.
see from
Yeah.
the animation, but they're on sort of little undulations and on sides of little hills as well. So that will be an extra added concern for the various combinations going through. Then on to the 7th, which has just the one knockdown in this particular one. And as they go through, again, you can see the various routes, and basically you have to go direct. You can't pass through an obstacle until you've actually been through it in alphabetical order. It's fairly straightforward. It's not complicated, but the route is complicated for the various drivers to plot. And this is the final one, the 8th of the obstacles. Got 8 knockdowns in this particular one as well. And again, really compact, but will be the final moment, and will be crucial, I'm sure, to determine the outcome of this particular competition, and indeed a long way to going to sorting out the driving result, both team and individual. And there then are the 8 obstacles that they will finish and head off to the finish of Section B. Delighted to say, joining me, fresh from probably walking the course first thing this morning amongst the spectators, as we look at the delightful city of Gothenburg. This is part of the route that they will be taking through to the main part where the marathon will be taken. That's the theatre down in the heart of the city, which certainly last night was rocking, and will again be rocking. And then it's just to look back at what happened yesterday. Edouard Simonet, the young Belgian driver, well, so much expected of the 28-year-old. He's been in terrific form. He's made a real impact this year, and he was set an early pace and a terrific performance from Edouard Simonet yesterday. Feeling the tension because there's great expectation on the Belgians this year that they can come away with a significant team medal. All their drivers are in the 20s. And here, though, is a man who has so much experience and is in second after a score of 44.01. Ysbrand Chardon, so competitive and determined to make sure that the Dutch come away with yet another team gold. And in his case, I'm sure he would dearly love to secure an individual gold. But he was in terrific form yesterday, painting a great picture in the dressage, as only he can. But it wasn't the best score, but it was an impressive score nonetheless, and has helped his team to a dominant position within the rankings, just as you would expect. Such an experienced team, not only him, but Kusteronda is the 3rd member. He was the discard score yesterday. He was a little disappointed with his score yesterday, felt he could do better, but perhaps he knows that he can produce a good marathon score. But Ysbrand Chardon smiling to the crowds yesterday. But it was this man who came out on top in the dressage phase of the driving competition in these Longines FEI European Championships. Theo Timmerman, with a very convincing and terrific display as well, and which was much better than anyone else yesterday with the score that he produced, to ensure that they are out in front with a score of 41.82. And we will soon see the first of the drivers leave, but that is what happened yesterday. Theo Timmerman helping the Dutch into the lead. It's a breezy day, it's overcast, and there is confirmation of what happened after the dressage. Theo Timmerman, Ysbrand Chardon, and Edouard Simonet in 1, 2, 3. The only woman driver, Marika Harm, the 31-year-old German. She was first to go yesterday, and she produced a score of 46.13. Here's the complete order after the dressage yesterday. The Hungarians have got to, probably the Dobrovitzes have got to, in a 2-man team, have got to be on fire today if they want to maintain their record of getting a team medal. And there is the 1, 2, and finally the 21 combinations that we have today. And starting shortly, Sally Morton has joined me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, you walk the course a lot. There is the team standings. Is it the kind of course that the Dutch will relish, or is it more complicated than that?
I think it's slightly more complicated. Having walked the obstacles, they are quite tight in places. We've got a great big team of Dutch horses. It's a job to get to squeeze in, but it'll be interesting.
How demanding is it? What are the things that is going to be at the back of the various drivers' minds as they approach this course? What is the sort of overriding feature of it?
It's got to be accuracy. They can't afford to knock knockdowns down. They're not the kindest of obstacles. They're not big, open, flowing obstacles. They can just tighten up on you. So it could be interesting.
So it's technical, is what you're saying, and it's in a wonderful walking around the park. I mean, this is a delightful city anyway. But what they've done here, they had the national championships. It is quite fitness crazy as well, as you could see. The early morning joggers have been out in this city this morning to. And as I was walking to our position, they were all running around. I didn't feel like doing it, but anyway, but they're going to enjoy this, and there will be thousands there. It will be great fun. The atmosphere is going to be terrific around there because of the way that all the obstacles. You know, you can see about 4 obstacles in one go.
You can, and the crowd can get really close up to the obstacle and really get the feel of it. Whereas the dressage, it was a bit of a distance. You couldn't get up close, whereas this you can.
And you'll hear all the hollering and the shouting as the drivers get to work with their horses, and the noise, and it draws you in, doesn't it?
It does, and if you watch them coming into an obstacle, you can see how many loops they have in their hands, so you can almost see how many quick tight turns they're going to do at the beginning, just to pull those leaders round. Yeah, it's good, and it's just the atmosphere will be brilliant, and that will help spice up the horses a bit.
And also, as we see, they leaving the Hedden Arena, going through and this is the first, the Frenchman Anthony Horde, who is on his way. Now, it is different because they're going literally through the streets of Gothenburg, and they're holding up everything. They've got plenty of volunteers, as you can see, and then they're holding the trams, the traffic, because we are literally twisting our way through the delightful streets of Gothenburg to get to the main park.
Yes, and they're on tarmac for that time through the streets. Then they go to a rest area and they have to put their studs in so the horses can grip in the grass. So that's they've been given 6 extra minutes at the halt so they can actually get the studs into the shoes. Because if you didn't, they'd be absolutely flat by the time they'd trotted on the tarmac all the way through. And
this is this very different, or is this quite normal?
No, this is a bit different. We do a bit of tarmac at Royal Windsor. We do a bit, but nothing like this. And you've also got to negotiate the tram lines,
which is very different. Well,
I hope they go across the tram lines, because I'd hate to see a carriage stuck in the tram lines going the other way.
I'm sure they've worked that out. I'm sure they have. But as you can see, they are heading through. And Anthony Horde is the first of the competitors. He scored 63.71 yesterday in the dressage, a part of the French team. And it is, as you can see, just how delightful this city is. And there is the one of the trams that will be held up, and you can see the teams of volunteers. Slightly different on the way back, because they will have to stop for as if like any other person getting around the streets of Gothenburg. But the drivers all have said how much they've enjoyed going through the streets, because they're being photographed left, right, and centre. And you can see what a, okay, we haven't got the sun shining here, but as he comes along the banks of the river here, past the theatre, it really is a delightful scene, and showing off Gothenburg to great effect. And then So explain how this works. They have an optimum, basically they've got a time that they have to get from the start of section A to the finish in the park.
Yes, they have to average 14 kph. It's like car rallying. You have an optimum time from the beginning. It's 5.750 meters. The minimum time is 21 minutes and the maximum time is 23. So you've got a 2-minute window to pull up in. And it's not difficult because you can trot your horses on and trot them back. You pull them back. It's the timekeeper on the back's job. They all wear stopwatches and they have alarms on when they're getting near certain. You have kilometre markers so you know how quickly you're going.
Well, you can see there with
that's lovely.
Our onboard camera of Anthony Horse, as he is the, I suppose, the pathfinder. People, the later combinations might just be getting an idea and watching what he's doing just to get a feel whether it's the right choice. But there you just get an idea of this delightful city. Then and once they've gone through this first part, head up away from the banks of the river, in through the cobbled streets of the city, heading towards the actual park itself, and heading towards. But there you get an indication of, you can hear, and the spectators will have been getting there for early on this morning as he heads now up here through the streets. A chance to get an idea of the city here. And there are those famous tram lines. You could just feel the camera wobbling as they go on. We wobble when we go across them, but let alone when you've got 4 horses and heading off to the main driving area where they put lots of... What have you noticed there?
The leaders are really enjoying it. Their ears are forward and they're looking. They probably don't do this very often.
Well, suddenly we're going through the... I think the whole thing's been different because they have actually had to go through where the stabling area is. I believe it's a kilometre away, just over a kilometre away from the Hedden Arena where the main driving has been taking place. Now I think they turn left here. Yes, you can see left now, up through the streets, and there are all the volunteers who are here to help and make sure that the competitors can do everything within the permitted time
and not get lost.
Well, luckily I think we should be all right because there seems to be quite a lot of spectators railings along the way. But now you can see just how close the traffic is to the first of the everything that's going on, and there lots of people will be taking photographs and seeing them and being waved on their way. Gothenburg has, and there we can see now as we head through a narrow street, which they have put the footing down, haven't they, to help the teams on their way.
Yes, they put a lot of good sand down just so they grip. When you think that years back the cobbles were there for the horses and the coaches, how they gripped in those days, heaven only knows. Well,
and this was the traditional means of transport, wasn't it?
That's right, yes.
And here they come, and you see how close they are as they go through, and listen to the applause as well as they are on their way through. And Anthony Horde, the Frenchman. So let's explain the scoring system for people who don't know how it works here. And there's Jerome Voutaz, who's the second, and he is the flying machine. He is number 2 who will be heading up, and they set them out at various intervals, obviously. But Jerome Voutaz got a head cam on one of the as well. How does the scoring system work in the driving for people who aren't familiar with it?
Right, well, there's 3 sections. The first section is section A, where you've got your nearly 6 kilometres, and you have your set time to do it in. If you're in early, you get penalties. If you're in late, you get penalties, but that's quite rare because they've given the people extra time now, so not to stress the horses. And then you have a free walk, free period, which is 1 kilometre, and that's just to let the horses settle down. And then you have a vet check, and the horses are checked over to make sure they're okay and fit enough to continue on to section B, which is the obstacle driving. And that's really where all the scoring is done. It's again, you've got more or less you've got an optimum time for that. On this, you've got it's 8.5 kilometers, and you've got a minimum time of 33 minutes, 39 seconds, and maximum 36:39. And the majority get in with that. It depends if you get hooked up on an obstacle and you waste a lot of time in there. You can get penalties for being late at the end, but it's just getting your obstacles quick and getting as less penalties as you can get.
Well, that's the less as trouble-free. Trouble. That's what they'll be hoping. But as you can see, continuing on through the streets of Gothenburg before they get to the park itself, and well, and presumably last night when you were walking it in the evening last night, there were lots of the drivers were doing yet another walk of the course.
They were all on their bicycles, and one of them had got a drone. The Swedes had got a drone that they were filming each obstacle from above and looking down.
Well, how the sport has changed.
How the sport has changed, yes. Fascinating.
Yeah. High tech. So presumably they've gone to bed dreaming with videos in their mind of the course. But presumably that gives them the chance to sort of almost film it through, so they can replay it, even if it's in slow motion.
That's right. They can have their breakfast cereal watching the obstacles.
And what do you think is? I mean, each driver has a different idea how to approach it, don't they? Some want to do it many times. Some want to just do it a couple of times and then just almost visually work it out and sort of rehearse the route in their mind. It's very different. Now you can see just how close we are to the normal proceedings of life, but look at the number of volunteers that have come out to help. It's been amazing, the response from the city to not only this particular part of the competition, but the whole of the equestrian championships that have been taking place here on the west coast of Sweden.
500 volunteers just for the marathon today.
And they had the national championships last year as a test event, and I believe there were thousands of spectators who came out for that, just to see if things like this worked. I mean, because this is a completely, well, it's a bustling city, as we and waving the backstop, waving away.
That's right. You could almost do the sat nav, couldn't you, on there, just sort of telling you the way.
Well, on their way towards it. So, the Belgians have been created a bit of a stir in terms of just the young guns, trying to dismantle the old guns, as it were, and the old timers of the Dutch. Will experience probably see through in the end, and the Dutch will be in a dominant position by the end, because we can't discount the Germans, who again have got the benefit of Boyd XL working with them, and already however, hasn't been working for long, but there was a benefit yesterday.
Definitely. It was different seeing Boyd in a red German jacket. Normally he's in an Australian jacket. But yeah, he was tweaking everything yesterday. And he was also chatting to the other drivers and giving them advice too, which I thought was very good.
Well, he's obviously worked a lot with Edouard, and Edouard Simonet was based when he was over in the UK.
Yeah.
So he's had plenty of his knowledge and has helped him get to where he is now, and obviously one of the exciting talents in the sport.
It shows. It shows the accuracy, the obedience to the horses. Edward's done a good job with that team. Let's hope it continues.
And here comes Jerome Foutaz, who is driver number 3, coming through to make his way through the streets of Gothenburg. He is a flying machine. He knows his dressage is not his strength, but this year he has made quite an impact on the indoor season. And also, this is very much his, and you can see everyone wanting to get a photo, just being applauded on their way. Great to see.
They're Swiss cobs. Got hog manes. They're not the fastest machines in the world, but they're very quick in the obstacles. because haven't got the speed there. They're very manoeuvrable.
And that could be to his advantage. And then the first of the Swedish competitors, who no doubt will be loving every minute of being part of a domestic European Championships. It's Johan Deng is the third rider to be driver to be sent on his way.
He is, and one of those wheelers, that's the horse, one of the horses nearest the carriage, is a British horse.
Okay, well,
there aren't many of us, but there is one horse.
No, the British team haven't turned up here, but there's a British horse. But Boyd used to be based in Britain, but he's come over to Europe because obviously that's where a lot of the major, well, obviously the Dutch, and it's just easier, and obviously he's where a lot of the major competitions in the indoor season take place, just easier to get around. And look at the number of people out already to see them come through. It is terrific to see. There's been a fabulous response here in Gothenburg as Johan Deng is coming down near the river before he heads off towards the park. And scored yesterday 62.12, the Swedish driver. And that gives you an idea of it. I mean, there are waterways everywhere here. It is a fabulous city to enjoy. But obviously they're heading up now. Once they get to the park, then we'll be mainly focusing, I'm sure, on the action up at the park. But there is Johan Deng going past the theatre. There's a restaurant just behind those trees as well, which was packed to the rafters last night. The city has definitely embraced the whole event.
They must have done a lot of work in the night, because last night we came back about 8 o'clock and everything was just still normal. They hadn't got any barriers up around the roads or anything.
I think there has been people working 24/7 here, and as you can see, they've transformed the city. But because actually this park where the obstacle course is normally where the local residents go and enjoy. They have lots of festivals. They've only had a relatively short build-up time to get everything ready.
And I think they had a pop concert in the park last week.
Yes, they had the Way Out Festival.
So
a couple of weeks ago, and that's one of the big events in Gothenburg on an annual basis. So it's a huge deal. So obviously they've had to work around that, and that is fair play to the organisers and the city to make sure that they can get it to work. And you can see they've also put a lot of cones out as Jerome Boutaz comes down the road heading towards the main park.
Yes, the course designer is British.
And he spends a lot of, he is
Barry Hunter.
Barry Hunter, but very experienced. And is this a classic Barry Hunter course?
It is.
And what is a classic Barry Hunter course?
A is always at the back of the obstacle. Having driven myself, you know when Barry's done it, because you go through the start gate, you think, where's A? And it's always right at the very back. You always have to go through, round, and then wiggle your way back. But they always drive better than they walk.
Well, that's the art.
It is the art.
It's a bit like in 3D eventing.
Yeah.
You know, you look at a course and think, wow, but when that's the art of a good course designer, whatever discipline, isn't it?
It is.
You know, he is able to exploit that.
Yeah, and also you see, because of the festival in the park, he couldn't build anything until that was over. All the obstacles are more or less movable, whereas at home we have permanent obstacles that are sort of posts are 4 foot in the ground. Here they are.
Well, temporary. It's a completely
temporary structure.
I mean, it probably there's people running along filming it. Anthony Hoard as he heads up towards the main area, and well, because it probably won't be seeing this too many times through the streets of Gothenburg as they head up towards the park.
We could almost do it in London, couldn't we?
You could, but, well, Hyde Park would be well, certainly this is an eye-opener for everybody to see this, or any of the parks in London. Greenwich had its issues, didn't it? But it was still spectacular for the Olympics. It was, with the
Brilliant.
backdrop down through towards the city itself. But this, I think, is, well, it brings the sport to people who may not, you know, if you're suddenly people who would never have seen this are suddenly thinking, what's going on here? And look, this is why I think it's such a spectacular sport, because it is different, but for the competitors, this must make them feel, all those long hours training, that must make them feel good, as Johan Deng, the Swedish driver, waving, the team waving to the spectators as they go on their way. It's a rock star element to it today, isn't it? And there's the next to go. That is the Austrian Andreas Rishitska, one of the two individuals that are competing here. There's one from the Czech Republic, and that is Jiří Nesvešil. Definitely not. It's almost as if people are sort of, now it's no, it started. High-fiving along the way. Must feel good. Bet you'd like to be doing this now, wouldn't you?
I would. Saturdays is always a bad day at an event because it's marathon day, and that was my favourite.
But, and certainly be going through the streets of Gothenburg, and the second city of Sweden, with the population and the surroundings is around about 1 million. But a bustling, thriving city that is certainly come alive this week. Already had some fabulous competition. The Hedden Arena, where the driving is based, was earlier host to the Para Dressage, and we have the cones, the final stage, tomorrow in the Dressage as the Austrian heads off. Spectacular sight with those 4 greys. As on they go. I'm just checking, I think he's got one of the, there's a very spectacular they look too as they go there, and pretty about the slightly leaden skies, but they're not rain bearing. And how was the course, did it feel like it was riding under, because we had a very heavy downpour on Thursday night. What did it feel like yesterday?
A bit soggy in places.
And what kind of challenge will that present, particularly because some of the obstacles are on slopes, aren't they? And
they are, and it's sand, which is good because that will drain. The early ones will have the best going. We go in reverse order, so the horses with the worst dressage go first, and then you have the winners at the end. And we've been finding that sometimes if it's wet, by the time you get the last 6 in there, the going in the obstacles can be very churned up.
But given also the better drivers, in a sense, probably are going at the end, but it sort of levels it up.
It levels it up a bit.
Bit of a level playing field.
Yeah, yeah.
As Johan Deng continues his way onto the Slotskogen City Park, heading towards it now. It's almost as if people have suddenly just appeared out of bed out of nowhere. The streets are thronged with people. Like, can't wait for the first shots that we get from in our commentary position of what the park looks like. But clearly this is, they have to do it within an optimum time to get to, and there's high-fiving going along all that time. The backstop, everyone's loving it.
The horses have to be traffic-proof, don't they?
Yeah.
They have to be good with buses.
There is Johan Deng. I think maybe spotting some friends along the way. As they head on towards the Peter Johansson is, and Pavilla Engström are his team behind Johan Deng.
I mean, these horses aren't actually having to do any work because carriages are freewheeling along the tarmac. Normally section A is on grass or tracks, and sometimes they can be quite heavy going, and they get quite high heart rates when they get there. But this lot are just...
I mean, well, you can see they're all loving it.
It's just a picnic in the park, isn't it? They're just trotting along.
Well, I'm thinking, well, just around the corner, we're going to have to do something. There is our Austrian driver, Andreas Dressage, on his way.
It could be interesting because they're going to be going into the first obstacle firing on all cylinders, because they're not going to be... You're hardly knocking the froth off the top of them doing this.
So it's actually going to be an added dimension for the drivers to say, well, we've got to control them. We're going to have to
just keep hold, otherwise well, they're going to be firing.
Well, we know it, but this is the skill of the whole team, because not only the driver but the backstop and the navigator. This is it's.
See, he's just yeah, let's go. They love it. Yeah. The horses really do. They know exactly what their job is, and they really enjoy it.
And it seems like they're all, and the team are definitely enjoying it as well. Obviously, there's a serious side to this because this is part of the actual competition, but more significantly, it seems like they're enjoying being so close. And just look how narrow that street is. And there they are, coming straight up one of the streets in the heart. As Thibaut Coudry, the Frenchman, is also on his way. The second of the Frenchmen. His score counted yesterday. He's in smiling mode straight away as well. So I think they're going to enjoy this a little bit before the really serious bit in the park itself. The Slottsskogen City Park, is to give it its proper name.
Yeah, the first obstacle, looking at it, it's quite open. It should drive well. It does give allowances for free-flowing horses.
Well, and that's in a way is the first one, just to get them into the rhythm of it. You're not going to provide the... which of the obstacles do you think is going to be the most demanding? The one that...
There's always one obstacle that becomes a bogey, if you like. There's always a couple of gates that... And until we've seen one or two go round, it's a job to tell.
But as you say, it always drives differently.
Yeah.
But when you were walking it, which one did you say, oh, that might be the one in particular?
Let me have a look here.
There's one water, that's the second.
That's number 2. Still chicken house, or I call it the chicken house. It's got lots of huts in it. So we called it the chicken house obstacle, just to remember which one was which.
Right.
Yeah, obstacle 6 wasn't very clever either. The flower planters. We'll just have to wait and see how they drive.
And who does maybe a quick route or which way round, and obviously first to go will be the Frenchman Anthony Horde, in terms of the once again we look back down towards the Hedden Arena along the river. People just taking in a leisurely day, but the city has been transformed, and there is Thibaut Coudry coming down. And as you said, there was a lot of people working overnight to ready this, even Section A and no doubt Section B as well, for this Longines FEI Driving Championships. And everything is programmed. There are times before they are due to go in, so it's probably around about 11:15. I think the first one is due to go in, something like that. By the time they've been checked out and moved down to the start area, so it's about quarter, and then the crowds on the
I think there's 55 minutes from the start time from when they start B.
So it'll be
Yeah.
just 10 past 11, around
Yeah.
about that, then around about 25 minutes time. So, but a lot of the, I think the last one technically leaves around about 12:15, something like that.
Theo.
Theo Timmerman will leave the Hedden Centre and on his way through the streets of Gothenburg. And there you can see Thibaut's absolutely waving. His team are completely waving, having a lovely time. And there you can see the volunteers as it comes down through the tree-lined route. These are normally the quite often the bicycle routes for the people in the city. Sportman City, the main Ullevi arena where the jumping and the dressage have been taking place, a venue that's held many famous sporting events on the world stage, World Athletics Championships, World Cup footballs, European Championship football as well, as being a major music venue as well for the city. As people heading off to the park to get ready to enjoy, and people coming out wondering what's going on, the locals. I believe that was a bit of a scene last year, that I've sat on the Saturday morning, they had breakfast looking out over as the city is transformed into the centre of the driving world.
It's a shame the British drivers
Well,
aren't here.
well, I think it's financial reasons, isn't it?
Definitely financial reasons. There's no sponsorship for them here at home, so they can only go where they can afford to go.
Well, it is, well, and being serious, I mean, for what any of these teams, it is an expensive sport because you've got four horses.
Yeah.
If you're going to be at the top level, you can't just have 4 horses. You've got to have a large team, and that is costs a lot of money. And it's not a sport that is necessarily got huge prize money and rewards. It is it's a labour of love in many people's case, isn't it?
I mean, Europe events do have prize money, and you can win quite good money. But in England, we have no prize money at all. Royal Windsor Horse Show does pay out very good prize money because it's an international competition. But our national events, there is never any prize money at all.
But a lot of getting into the sport, it's we know it's a spectacular sport, but like all these things, there's the 22-year-old, the youngest competitor, Dressage, is on his way. He was certainly disappointed yesterday with his dressage score, but it's all part of the learning curve. Just at 22, I mean, I think IJsbrand and other members of the Dutch team were winning competitions in 1983, and he was only born in 1995. So, and driving is a lot of it is experience, but he seems to have so much talent that there's a very exciting prospect for the years to come.
It is. The Belgians have a very good young drivers system, and we are doing very well at home with our young drivers. I mean, one of our young girls won the Pony Pair World Championships last weekend, and she's 20. So we are getting there.
Well, I think
we're trying to bring them through.
Well, I think everyone needs new blood in the sport.
Absolutely.
To make sure that the sport has a significant future. And clearly the Belgians have got a very good policy, and Edward Simonet is leading the way, and it will be encouraging, and it will be bringing on other talent. And as we see carrying on through the streets of Gothenburg, that is...
IJsbrand's bred his own. He's got Bram
Yes.
to carry on.
Yes, well, yes. Well, he'll never give up, though, will he? I can't see. I don't know what he'd do if he gave up. He'd be.
Exactly.
He is. Well, it's his life, and he's so competitive. But a driving force, excuse the pun, for the sport in every sense of the word. And he will be the penultimate driver
We've got Dobrovic Jr. as well. That's
Yeah.
another young.
Well,
young
he's
chap.
been around. He's been
He
around.
has.
He's 25.
Yes.
His dad, and in Hungary, driving is a huge sport and has a profile. Many, in part, well, it's over many years, but the Dobrovics have maintained that, and obviously will be hoping to keep their medal winning run going. They were medalists in Aachen.
Dobrovic has had a bronze in Caen, the
Yep,
World Equestrian Games.
absolutely, and they've been regularly winning medals. And I think these must be all the people heading out to the park, and face painting been going on as well. Looks like the Swedish supporters are out in force, ready to enjoy the drama of the driving. I think there's some shows going on there as well as dancers, you name it. It's going to be the full fun of the fair, and thankfully the sun is coming out a bit as well, so we could be in for a spectacular looking competition through the obstacles once that gets underway.
Yes, they were playing frisbee golf round obstacle 1 last night.
Help me out, frisbee golf.
Well, you stand on a tee and you chuck a frisbee and it goes up, and there's like a basket thing.
Oh,
with
right.
Chains, and the object is to get it in the hole, which is the basket.
Right.
But it was right by obstacle 1, and we were sort of ducking, thinking, if they're not doing this in the morning.
Well, it might be quite fun. A bit of frisbee golf. That's a sport I haven't come across before, but I wonder if it will be. I know they have a lot of sports activities go on in the park, as we see Thibaut Coudry continue on his way through Section A. And he is number 4 on the number 5 on the way with a score of 59.88. That's what he scored. And Degri Tries 59.82. We know he's on his way. Then we've got Martin Wagner, the Swiss driver, 56.46. And then the first of the Dobrovic family, Joseph Jr., will be sent on his way through the streets of Gothenburg. Amazing, just applauding them on their way. And there is the 22-year-old, Thijs de Griek. Competed in the World Championships last year, but all part of the experience of how and his team in 3rd at the moment with a score of 95.86. Pretty close it is to between the 2nd and 3rd. Just over 2 points separating 2nd and 3rd in the overall teams classification. That's Germany and Belgium, but Netherlands have a over 7-point cushion. The 2 scores that counted yesterday, IJsbrand Chardon and Theo Timmerman, but the 3 of Kusteronda, IJsbrand Chardon and Theo Timmerman have got, it'd take me probably a year to count out how many medals they've got between them, and gold medals in particular. And there they go on their way. And the clouds are just leaping out now, in force now, once they've all realised what's going on now.
Yeah.
A bit lonely it was for poor old Anthony Horde at the beginning in comparison. There is Martin Wagner, as I mentioned, and one of the Swiss, Jerome Futaz, is already on his way. And the Swiss, one of 2 teams that have just got 2-man team here. And that adds a little pressure because they have no margin for error in terms of a discard score.
The navigators will have all their information stuck on a piece of A4 on the back of the seats, the obstacles, and they will guide the drivers around the obstacles. You'll see the navigators saying left turn, right turn.
Well, in essence, just like rally driving.
Just like rally driving, because you've got 4 horses on 4 reins. You're taking loops. You've got to look where your horses are going.
You don't want to be thinking where you're
You
going.
just need prompting that you're going in the right direction, and that's what the navigators do in their timekeeping as well. And the chap on the back, is normally a big bloke on the back, acts like your sidecar race driver, if you like. On motorbikes, they shift their weight all the time to keep the carriage.
And the important thing
on
of
the
that
floor.
is the timing of that.
Yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
It's not just do it any time.
No.
You've got to know when you've got to shift weight to help get the carriage run.
And you will see when they're in the obstacle, if they're getting a bit close to a knockdown, the chap on the back actually can bump the carriage across and move it. It takes a bit of doing,
well,
especially on a team carriage because they're heavy.
And so how heavy would you, I mean, okay, a difference, obviously it's different from the dressage one, that's a more elegant and traditional. This is a sport carriage and has to have a degree of strength in it, but does it feel?
They are heavy carriages, and they need to be.
Robust anyway, because
very robust. They've all got like I think since Formula One got good, we have delayed steering on the pole. You see the wheelers are hooked to a pole.
Yeah.
And you push your leaders round a pole, around a post, and then your carriage will follow. But there's a big ram that makes it actually follow the horses. It doesn't cut in. So you've got about I don't know.
So the science of the carriage
yes,
has evolved.
Yes, Prince Philip actually came up with that idea of the delayed steering, and he went to British Aerospace and described what he wanted doing, and between them they came up with this plan. Now whether he was the first, I'm not sure, but we've all gone from there.
So basically, all carriage drivers have seen that's the way the technology has advanced. When you were first doing it, and when the sport, because it sort of only formulated towards the end of the 60s, wasn't it? Where, with the aforementioned Prince Philip, who was a very keen carriage driver in his own right, passionate about the sport.
And they did it with traditional vehicles. Nothing, no marathon carriages, they were wooden. And
well, the sport always involves
had a picnic basket on the back.
But now, so there's basically, when you look at it, it's a piece of high-tech kit in many ways.
Very high-tech, yes. Yeah.
To enable the...
I mean, Boyd, when we were in Caen, it was all on all-weather surface, not so much grass. And he sent home for his indoor wheels because they're wider.
Right.
To spread them so that they don't dig in that surface.
So
they stay on the top of it.
So in a way, it's just like any sport. Cyclists that do different things. The sport is evolving. Everyone is trying more to make sure they can find a little second here, a second there.
That's right.
So if you point it, well, no doubt we'll get a chance to see what you're referring to.
Yeah.
But it is just the way the height, probably in 10 years' time, there'll be completely some other super-duper bit of a development. But the sport has definitely changed as Martin Wagner continues on his merry way.
Well, hopefully it's getting more horse-friendly.
Well, that's...
It's making everything much nicer for the horses to work and easier for them to do the job.
And people want to see spectacular sport, but also done well. But obviously technology is enabling the sport to progress and move forward. But again, when you talk about the cost, to get a high-tech carriage like this, it's presumably...
Thousands.
Exactly.
10,000 quid.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's, this is not a... but again, it shows where the sport is heading in terms of, the people, and look at the quality of the teams here. There is a
absolutely. I mean, years ago, if you couldn't show jump it or three-day event it, you stuck it in a carriage. Well, now they buy Grand Prix dressage horses to do dressage in carriages. It's gone completely round. The quality of the horse is so much better now than it was 20 years ago.
Well, I think you can probably almost say that across
all
disciplines now, which is fantastic to see and hear that, the people are not happy with second, but they want the best.
Quality.
And look, they're smiling. Everyone's loving every minute of it. As
The horses are still enjoying it too. They think it's good fun.
Well, there's a rock star element. It's almost like being on a sort of parade. I had the privilege of going down to the Melbourne Cup last year, and before the Melbourne Cup, they have a street parade in little cars where all the owners and jockeys get in a little car, and it's sort of a rock star moment for the competitors for the race that stops the nation in Australia. But Joseph Dobrovits is the driver, junior that is, who we are looking at there as he goes on his way. And they will need to produce the goods today, the Dobrovits duo, to move up from their current position of 6th on the team leaderboard. Wasn't a great day for them yesterday. Now you can see all the volunteers who are on standby to help. As Sally was mentioning, 500 just for the driving alone. And as people head towards the park, and it won't be long before we see the first competitor on his way through the obstacles. And the Swedish flags as people head there to cheer on the drivers through, and it will be a very interesting to see how Anthony, who was sent out an hour ago, is getting on. He'll be in the he'll have completed section A now, and now he'll be in the adjusting, and as you're saying, because they're on tarmac, they'll be putting studs on the horses, and that takes time and is all part of the well, what they need to do. They made a they asked, because it's, as you say, so not quite unique but different, that we're going through so much tarmac, there were some changes made, weren't there?
What on timings at the halt? Yes, they were given an extra 6 minutes for putting your studs, your spikes in their shoes, screwing them into the shoes so that they've got some grip on the grass.
You can see the thousands of people heading towards the park, ready to enjoy the action when it gets underway in the park shortly.
Also at the halt there is what they call the second horse inspection, where the vets go over the horses just to make sure their heart rates are good, and there's no rubs or marks on them from the trot down the road. Well, there probably won't be.
There shouldn't be today.
No.
There shouldn't be, because this is not, as you quite rightly say, it's not overly demanding on the 4 horses.
I think the drivers' heart rates will probably be a lot higher than the horses.
Well, I think they're just loving the rock and roll nature of it, aren't they?
I think if you took the drivers' heart rates, you'd send them all home.
Well, this is Martin Wagner, the Swiss driver, and he's loving it. Look at his broad smile as he comes down towards us, heading up. Scored 56.46 yesterday. And we've seen Joseph Dobrovits. Then there'll be another the next one to go through. Look at this. There's the team. And he has Martin as his pair, as we saw going through there. Has Madeleine and Bettina Wagner, so very much a family affair. Daughters doing the hard work for Dad.
Keeping Dad under control.
Oh, yeah. Oh, a bit harsh, making one be the backstop as well. She doesn't deserve that. Anyway, no. But actually, what it does prove is this is a real family sport at times. So I know that in the Ronda's case, you know, the wife and the children are very much part of the whole operation and are passionate for it. And well, here's a case in point. Dad's quite good, son's taken up the challenge as well, and
yes.
But in his own right, Joseph Dobrovits, the 25-year-old Hungarian.
Last week in Minden at the Pony Championships, Icebrand's daughter drove a team of ponies that Bram had just finished with.
Well,
so that's 3 of them going.
Right. I wonder if he's going to be great to see if one of them beat Dad, you know.
One day.
One day. Dad, I'm not sure, would he be happy? No. But I think sometimes, will Dad give them the best horses? Probably not.
I think eventually
Yeah.
he will. He
Well,
will. He's very proud of his children, and I think he'll be their top supporter.
Well, he's in his late 50s now, but still as enthusiastic and as committed to the sport as ever. But it gets under your skin, I think people. And I suppose it's different in terms of physical. It is hard work. You've got to be fit, but you don't necessarily need to be able to run anyway. You just got to make sure you've still got this natural strength to be able to get your horses to do what you want them to do. As they continue through the streets.
It's a very good equestrian sport that you actually don't have to be able to ride a horse to do it.
I think I need to take it on. Yes.
It's better if you do, but some people don't ride and never ridden, but they're very, very good drivers.
Well, I suppose it's a different skill set in a way, is it? As long as you understand the horse.
Absolutely.
And what you've got to do. As Axel Olin, I'm sure, will be cheered all the way around by the spectators. And
the horses are very well booted, aren't they? All these horses have got.
And he was taking part in the national championships here 12 months ago, finished second. And Axel has Jens Larsen and Robert Wallström as his assistants here. And there is Joseph continuing on his way. Slightly uphill that little bit, because there are, when we were driving, we went on a whistle-stop tour of the marathon course on Thursday night, and you can just see it was slightly uphill through those streets. And they're heading now towards the park. I'm sure it won't be long now before we are getting the first look of Anthony, who will be into the course proper. His team of Carol Hall and Jan Lefebvre supporting him.
So your horses have got really good boots on, very well booted, so they don't stand on each other when horses are turning in small spaces. There's all those legs going. So they put all that on just to protect them
from the next their companion.
Yeah.
Well,
they stand on their own feet as well, but you know.
Well, that's all part of the test, isn't it?
It is, and the drivers wear belts that the groom can hold, so if it hits a post, it doesn't get pinged out. They're not allowed to tie the groom has to hang on to this belt. It's like a strap, and you can hang on to it, but you're not allowed to tie it. So if anything happens, then they do go over, everybody rolls clear. Oh, there we go. Let's just sort things out here.
If there's something...
Yeah, that's quite all right on Section A. You can do that.
And as long as you're inside the... you have a time. So they might just now have to go a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
If depending on how long this tack malfunction is, which we assume that's what it is at the moment.
Well, they're just adjusting the reins, I would think. Whoops. That's it.
On his way. Weather is thankfully improving. There is Joseph Dobrovich heading down the streets. And then they have quite a section. The last part is through the park itself, to the side of the park, wending their way around the side of it. It's a big park. It's 140 hectares, which is quite a lot. So there's plenty of space, but the area that the actual driving obstacles and is a small part of it. A part that was first trees, I think, were planted there in about 1620.
Yes, there's some very old trees that we had to avoid. They wouldn't post pull anywhere near them because of the roots.
Well,
got to look after the trees.
Quite right. It is very much the, as we've been saying, the garden for the local residents, this big park area. Amazing the transformation of, well, the Headon area is normally 4 or 5 football pitches, which has been transformed into the driving centre, and there's a big shopping village.
It's just starting.
Right, here we go. And coming in. Anthony Hoard is on his way. Let's see how he gets on here. Really just holding up. And there is the look at what is there and what the obstacles they will face. And there is the obstacle. How tricky do you think that one's going to be?
I hope that one drives nicely and it flows, because you'll have some very pulling horses, and
right.
They just need to settle.
Here
he goes into A.
And he's on his way.
There you are, he's just on A.
Got to go through it with the red on right,
red
basically.
On the right,
red on right.
always. And he's just going up to come through round to B.
Anthony going through it, and you can see his time that he's going through. It gives the centre bit a big clonk. But there's no knockdowns in this one.
No, not in one.
He's got another 2 gates to negotiate.
Yeah, this is good.
Just using a little bit of time on the turn there as he weaves his way through the first obstacle.
Yeah, taking plenty of loops, going
Really good
through
start to the
round.
French.
It's going through E.
Yeah.
And then you can go, once you've gone through the court,
There's F, and he's finished. Go on, boys. Yeah, you've got to drive the gates in the correct sequence, but once you've broken a gate, see.
let's just see what time. 1 minute, just around about 1:42 to get through that. So just see that as a benchmark, as an opening salvo for Anthony, the first of the competitors. You can see the slopes on the side, and an example of how tree-lined it is, and there is the edge of the park, and then they'll head down towards obstacle number 2. So we know around about 1 minute for Anthony, and then they will head us to the one and only water obstacle, which is always spectacular.
And it's a good obstacle. There's plenty of room in it.
You see that?
That's a good turn round the water thing to get back to D, and round to E. Yeah.
So obviously this will give us an idea of how he goes through, as a sort of time where that is. And you can see already special stands here have been made as he will head round. Just tell you, Joseph Dobrovits is on his way as far as the first section is concerned, and there's big screens and everything around, so the spectators there, and look at the numbers that have come out to see this as he will head in. And there are no knockdowns in this one, neither in 3, but then the first of the knockdown obstacles is 4, where there are 9. Now that's quite a lot, isn't it?
That is a lot.
Clearly.
But hopefully everything should be running smoothly, and the horses should be listening by the time they get there.
Clearly Barry's got some plan there, hasn't he?
I think so.
And as they come round, and just see him, here he comes, heading towards it through the in-out area, heading to 2. Let's see again what sort of time he might come up with here. So in his way he goes now.
Straight through A, right hand is down, back down to B.
Through B.
Over the bridge. Left rein through C. Now is he gonna, oh, he's doing Yui there, look. Straight out, back round to D, which is another right rein, down he goes. That's it. Back across the bridge. See? No, he's not.
He's turning back to go through E. That's E.
And now he's just got F, which is in the middle.
So turning back to get out.
That's it, now straight out.
And let's see what time he's come up with. Again, around about, well, just under
58.
a minute. 58.78. We'll take that as a starting point to see where that fits into the scheme of things as we look at him coming through again. Really having to work hard here.
So he's taking a loop and hauling his leaders round. And he'll let that slip when he wants to go straight. There it goes, look. Hauling them through.
Working well, aren't they?
Yep.
Lovely picture there of them coming through as working them through. The reaction of the crowd. 58.78, so gives you an idea of as a starting point for the time. Now it's quite a long.
It's a long track now to number 3.
Yeah.
In the rules, you should have 1 kilometre between each obstacle. That's sometimes not feasible, but that's the recommended distance.
Clearly, in this compact area, there may be some tweaking going on.
There must be a bit of tweaking. It's a good long trot now to number 3.
And this is that, if I remember rightly, that's on the sloping.
It's like 2 sections. There we go. And it's, as you say, it's on the slope. They can sort of go round the tree and back down and do one and back up to the trees.
Protecting the roots of the trees. But again, it's going to be spectacular. Look at the numbers of people wanting to get a vantage point of that. And
this will be a good one to watch for a spectator because it should be quite fast.
And no knockdowns in this, but when he comes round, so they come through the inner area, but then A.
You come in at the bottom and then go right the way up round the tree to the top.
So let's see how, and the others will be starting soon. So we'll be getting a picture of them all coming through and the idea of the times. But Anthony's, how do you think they were quite, that felt quite, they were smooth, weren't they?
They were smooth.
You expect quicker?
They weren't attacking, were they?
No.
They were having a good time.
Okay, so what you're saying, so what would you think could be, okay, they come in a minute, what would you say, could you see some people go through those in?
1:30 and 1. It depends how it goes.
Right, but it was smooth and it looked good, and it as here he comes now. Let's see how he goes. He has to go round to A, and this is the first part as he comes round. That's A. Now B, he's got to go a long way to find B, but he's got to turn back on himself for B.
He's got to turn back to the left and pull them round through B.
And then you have to make a quick turn because you can't go through F.
Back up the hill.
To find C, but he can go back through A again there.
He can, yes. Yes, he can go through A backwards or A again.
Which is what he did there. And you can see they're cutting up straight away.
Will be.
And there is he going through D. That's D. Now heading back to an E. He's going to have to turn round back on himself, and that's what he's doing there. There is E just there.
Yep.
And now looking for F, where again he's got to come back on himself. And he's... Whoa! Oh.
Steady, boys. Keep going. That's it. Nope.
Little miscommunication going into F. The final part, and then he's going to be turning just got that bit wrong. And he's through and out in 1:09.47. But little error through 3 for Anthony Horde, the Frenchman. And then he heads now to 4, which again is sort of down to the bottom of where the main group of obstacles are fixed, but there's a bit of a
yes, you see they come in, and A is right at the back of the obstacle again.
That's your man Barry up to his tricks. Man Barry up to his tricks again.
Ah, Barry.
So again, looking.
This is quite a twisty one.
And this is the one that's got 9 knockdowns, and the penalty structure for a knockdown is
2 penalties per knockdown,
which is 8 transformed into 8 seconds
yeah, well,
time.
yes, it could do.
That's what I'm. Here,
You don't want to knock too many down.
no, and this is Jerome Vutaz who's coming in now.
Oh, is that little Swiss cob's coming in?
Now this will be interesting to see what he matches. This is into obstacle number 2.
Straight through.
Backing himself.
Lots of encouragement.
And right, straight over the bridge.
To see.
Which is quick left turn.
Should do, oh, look, he's doing a very tight turn. Look at that. That's amazing. Very tight.
Right, 58.78 was. So that will be interesting to see how many people.
Look, he's taken no space up there at all. He's just gone round the pole, round the post.
You're impressed.
I'm impressed. Now he's just got F.
F to do. 58.78 was the time. Just the. Ooh.
Boys.
Now what's he going to come out? Actually, despite that,
Yep.
Anthony
It's slower.
was quicker. He's slower, despite the.
Yeah.
I got 59 points. So that.
I got
Yeah. So just didn't. Maybe it was trying to be too cute.
Well, he lost momentum, didn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't keep flowing. I always found it was easier to keep him going forward.
And now heading out on the first of the Swedish competitors, Johan Deng, is now released from the start gate to go on his way down to the first of the obstacles. And no doubt will be given plenty of vociferous support from the crowd.
Yeah, they're big horses, aren't they? Sensible, steady sort of types. Be interesting to see how if you can switch them on to fast mode.
Heading down is quite a way from that start area to the first down the side, and then, as you can see, we'll turn left towards the first of the obstacles. But this is Jerome Vutaz heading down towards his next obstacle. But this is, I think this is Johan Deng who's coming through.
Number 4. This is the one with the brass horses in.
Into the sculptures, A to F to the go-to here.
Anthony Horde is Anthony Horde. He's going into
Number 4. Into B. There's B. Whoops.
And there are the knockdowns here. You can see the
Yes,
little,
there are, lots of them.
the little yellow
Tennis balls.
balls on those cones.
Yep.
And there's a knockdown as he comes round here. But although he hasn't knocked down, let's see if he jolts one of the areas. But so far, we're just trying to check has he had any down there so far.
See, this is tight. You try, you know, it's they're going very well.
He's clear so far in terms of no knockdowns.
That's it. He's out. That was good.
49.73. So that will be, and we don't think there were any knockdowns there. There were 9 potential knockdowns there, but it looks like he was clear through 4 as he heads now to 5, which is an obstacle which features 6 knockdowns. Now, coming in now, we have Johan Deng. This is for obstacle 1. Let's see how the Swedish driver gets on here. The one we've seen so far come through, that was Anthony 1:0, just over a minute.
Navigator's telling you where to go. Oi.
Just a little stuck there. And it's White keeping it back through D. This is D. Right turn. And head towards
Through E, round the logs in the middle. That's it. Out through F on his way.
And what's the time there? This is looking a...
58.97.
so that's quick
That is quick.
for Johan Deng. So a good start for the Swedish driver through that first obstacle. Now he heads to the water. Heading down towards it. She's not that fit. He has to go back on himself towards round. I think there's going to be lots of times where we're going to see people in sort of carriages sort of going left, right.
The road we drove in the other evening, there's about 6 passing gates. So they go up and down this road 6 times. So they're going to be meeting each other all the time.
I imagine that's relatively unusual.
It is actually, yeah.
Because normally you're sort of going round the...
In Caen, we did it, didn't we? Went round and round the racetrack. Now this is a good one.
The steel obstacle.
Steel, yeah. I called it the chicken houses.
Well, and let's see what's going to happen. Coming in, Anthony Horde, I think, is going to be coming towards 6. Any minute now. Look at the thousands of people on hand to enjoy this. Through the one in-out area. You can see there all the sort of crisscrossing and...
Yeah, they'll be coming up through the sand road. Another thing I've noticed that the start and finish gates are very close to the obstacle. They don't seem to be able to get much gallop up to get out, do they?
No. There's a view back across the park. Every competitor being cheered on his way. Swedish flags flying. And Johan Deng coming into the water. Here the cheers ringing around. Let's see how he gets on here. Through.
Round back on B. Over the bridge.
That's a good angle there.
Left into C. Let's see what a sort of UE he does here.
He's got to get back and then turn back round through E.
Whoa. They're all right, they're okay.
And looking for F, just a little...
F's in the middle here in the concrete.
Turning round.
That's it.
That's the final one now. Gallop on out. And this is going to be, well, it's not the quickest. Over a minute.
1:38.
1:38 for...
1.38.
Yeah, just over a minute. So just looking at coming through in there. You can see how hard the team behind there is the instructions being barked, almost tapping on the shoulders. They go there. And there you can see, look, we've just seen 2 drivers as we watch Anthony Horde go into the obstacle 6. Let's see how he gets on through here, this steel obstacle. And there are no knockdowns in this particular obstacle.
Out up the bank there,
round.
There are knockdowns.
There are knockdowns. So
Yeah.
there are knockdowns, indeed. But not on.
We're all there
Yep.
so far.
But he's away 1 minute. 0.38 of a second is his
Go to
time
F,
in the water.
and he's away.
That's good.
That drove well, didn't it?
Yeah. And on his way. It was actually, and then that was actually 5 that he was in. Just
He was in 5, yeah.
5, where there
Yeah.
were 6 knockdowns.
Yeah.
Just to confirm. This is 6, where there are no knockdowns. Total of 8 obstacles.
Because Anti-Horde will be there shortly. He's at 6 as we speak. He's just coming out of the soft obstacle at 6.
Again, on the slope, you can see how it's on the side of a small bank. So head towards it. Here he
Here he
comes.
comes.
See the entrance point
Yep.
coming off the road.
He's got to go right the way around the back of the obstacle to get to A.
Yes.
Is this the one on the hill?
This is on the. It is on the
slope.
side.
So
It's on the slide. It's almost like you're going across the side of the hill on a camber.
That's right.
Oh, that's Jerome
No, no.
Vutaz. Jerome Vutaz heading off. This is what I mean. You know, we've got drivers all over the place here.
The obstacle stewards won't know what's coming and what's not.
Well, here's Anthony
There you
Horde coming in, then, our pathfinder, as it were. Let's see how he gets on through 6. As we say, you've got to come round the back to get to A. So he's coming into obstacle 6, the French driver. There is A.
There is A, so he'll work his way down now to B.
B, he's got to turn round almost like an S.
B.
You can see already that is going to be cutting up. You look at the way that cut up straight away.
C's at the very top. C's at the top. D's at the bottom. They're going up and down.
Now going through D.
Making a very good job as
You go back through B, which he's done there.
There's E, that's nice there. Nice there. And then back. Here's F here, facing us. He's got to go round the flower pot.
And then turn straight back on himself. See how tight that is. He's wanting the lead. Just wanted to know, can I kick on?
52, 53.
54.94 for the obstacle 6. 2 more to go then for our first driver, the Frenchman Anthony Horde. Now you can see everything's a turn back here as he's now heading to 7.
There's Mr. Hunter. You just missed it.
Wonder what he's thinking of his course.
From County Durham, he is.
You're right, but he spends a lot of time in America, doesn't he?
He does. Yes, he lives in Florida.
Now this is 7 that we're looking at here. And 7 features...
7's it's got the stage in it where the dancers are meant to be dancing and the music playing.
And you can see the stage there, but there's 1 knockdown here.
Yes.
And haven't seen any knockdowns so far, but we'll get an idea of...
This is one that Barry's put A at the front.
well, can't do it every time, can he? As they head on. Who's about to go on their way here? This looks like it's looking at the colours there of the horses, I would suggest that's Thibaut Coudray. Yes, it is. So there he is with his horses' bandages in the French flag colours. And he's on his way heading down towards the first of the 8 obstacles. And the next driver we can pick up, coming to the next obstacle.
That's the Austrian.
And that's coming in. Andreas Rashitska coming in into the water obstacle. Took a slightly wider route
He
run.
did. Now let's see what he does here. A Yui.
Yes.
Back out. Back through. Round to F. Grooms have got very wet feet.
Yep. I think, well, it's the only time. Now they've got time to dry out now, but that's well, it's
Steady, wasn't it?
Steady. Well, he took the long route. We
He
working
did.
out the angle. There is a quick route there. And this is Johan Deng, the
Back into the horses' heads.
in obstacle number 4. You see the knockdowns. Let's see if he can keep it all intact here.
The guy in the back should be watching too.
Back on B. And C, that's C, keeping the red on the right.
Handling the reins, taking lots of loops.
Jerome Vitaz makes a very good job at obstacle number 5.
Given the rain we have had, it will cut up, definitely. You can see already with the fact that we haven't had many going through. See, it's going to be a little slower than we've seen a 49.73 through this one, so a little slower. 51.91 for Johan Deng. Going through there. Now we're into Anthony Hall coming into obstacle number 7, the first competitor sent out, setting a mark. It's been a...
You can see the dancers are all on the stage, standing still.
They were told they can dance, but as soon as they come in, they've got to just stay as they...
He's gone through B, the horses are having a good look.
Now that's different, I haven't seen that before, have you?
They're not listening, come on boys.
There's one knockdown there, you can see the one knockdown that they have on this one. No. Keeping it now going through E, back near the stage. And then that's F.
Come on boys.
He's been pretty smooth throughout, hasn't it?
has.
There's been no, 52.89 is his time, so he's giving us a good guide.
He's giving us a good guide, and the only one we saw was in obstacle, was it 3, that they just, was it him that clipped that post?
Yes.
It was, wasn't it?
Just had a slight, yeah, and he's got one more to go. Obstacle number 8, which has got 8 knockdowns, just to keep the pressure on right to the very end. There is 8. Again, plenty of twists and turns. And here there's also a bandstand nearby as well.
Yep. It's very dark in there, in those trees.
Does that present problems or not? Not really. But I think he can be pretty pleased with the way it's gone for him. He just seems to have been...
He's a pathfinder, isn't
Yeah, he is.
He's driving like one.
But his times are quite good.
Good.
Well,
They're
maybe
very
he's got the best of the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, he's playing safe. He's driving a good, solid marathon.
So we've got Thibaut Coudry's just started. We've got out on the course Jerome Futaz, Johan Deng, Andreas Rashitska of Austria, and Thibaut Coudry. Next up will be Dries Dekrik will be coming out. And out onto the course here, you can see the thousands of spectators. What a lovely park it is too. You can see the trees, large wooded area. There's a zoo nearby as well.
the garden obstacle. And the quick driver going very well. He's the quickest through obstacle number 3. He was the second quickest through obstacle number 2, the water. And also the quickest through obstacle number 4. So he's making really good progress. Quickest of 5.
Well, next one picking out. I think, is this Thibaut coming into Thibaut coming? Thibaut. I've got the cue with the French flags, you see. Thibaut Coudray coming into the water. Johan.
That's getting well sloshy, isn't it?
Now let's see what he does here. Now that is the shortcut route, isn't it?
It is, and he's attacking it, isn't he?
He's really going for it. So we might start to see times. Well, we will get, because obviously the combinations get. What we're looking at is a time, anything under 58.78, that will be quicker. The quickest we've seen so far going through. Going through, now coming back on E.
That's it, now he's just got to go back in through the middle, back through F.
F, and this, it does look quick, doesn't it? This looks, really giving it a go here. Just couldn't quite get the momentum he wanted out of that turn, but it's still quick. 55.75, 55.77, I should say, is the quickest we've seen so far going through 2, and there's an example here, and you can just see the...
You can see how much drag there is on that carriage in water. It makes a bow wave, and it really does stop you. They're all having to work quite hard.
And that's going to get very churned up by the time the 21st and final competitor goes through, who will be Theo Timmerman. Oh, lovely.
Right, he's coming into number 8.
Right, final one, Anthony Horde. Just seen Thibaut Coudray blaze his way through 2. Can Anthony Horde, who's just played a steady game, but a very sensible game.
Oh, he's through A. B's round the corner, there he goes through B. Horses are still going forward well, aren't they?
Yep. C, and he's got to come head down to weave his way round to D.
And then he can go through B backwards if he needs to. And up to E, which is the middle somewhere.
Yeah, turning round on himself, the E.
Yeah, and that's stop. That's just stop him going forward. Come on, boys.
Any knockdowns, and so far you can see all the knockdown
There's 8
stage.
in there somewhere.
Yeah, and then he's out.
He's finished, he's done.
Well
done.
Heads towards the finish. Haven't got a time through there, but he has finished. We'll get his score in due course as to exactly how he has finished. But still, that was a good start from Anthony Horde, and to throw down a challenge that he thought he was smooth. He necessarily didn't have it full on.
He's set up a good start for them, hasn't he? They've all got something to go for now. The ones that haven't started yet will be watching that from somewhere.
They're getting information.
They have spotters that will radio in and say, well, a certain distance, a certain way, doesn't look like it's going to drive very well, go a different way.
And they will get that information while they're doing at the start area, between the 2 sections.
Yeah, the whole information will be coming back as to which ways are driving the best.
Well,
yeah, he's all smiles, isn't he?
I think he'd be pretty pleased with the way it went.
Yeah, look, those horses are bright as buttons.
And yes, look at the smiles for Anthony Horde, our first competitor through and coming through at the end. Horses have done a really good job, and then of course they've got to trot back. It's quite a long way back, so he's going to have another run through the streets of Gothenburg.
They'll all be washed down, checked by the vets. They'll be
and there is an example. We got 2. We got the.
It's a steward's nightmare.
Well, that's why they had the test event here, and this is 19. That's Johan Deng going through. Oh,
straight into the flowers.
And there is a bit of an error there. Oops. That will be costly in terms of time.
This is obstacle 6.
And now they're trying to pick up.
Up the hill and back down again.
Obstacle number 6, the twists and turns here of the flower labyrinth. As he navigates.
Whoops, just got losing a bit of momentum through this one. It's not gone as well as earlier, so get an idea of the time through 6. No knockdowns here. We've seen a 54.94, I think, from Anthony. This has not gone well here. This is quite a costly one in terms of his score, and then that's yes, he's 106.55. That's slow, but we could see that, and there we have to take a quick turn as he heads now to 7.
Yes, his leaders weren't listening, were they? You know, perhaps he wasn't giving them enough information.
Thibaut Coudray, we saw attack previously through the water, and again, he seems to have got the bit between the teeth, doesn't he? Even here, you can feel the extra momentum. Through D, that's D through, this is obstacle number 3. Got to go back round the trees.
Down the hill.
Come
That's
back.
it, the one in the middle.
F.
And let's see if he can get through them.
And there's F. He's going through.
That's where the other one hit those.
And this is quick. This is quite a quick
good
time.
one. Very
56.83. That is from Thibaut.
Very good.
Yeah. Well, he opened up with a dressage score of 59.88. And so improvement here.
But they were working as a team, those horses, weren't they? The leaders were.
And this is Andreas Dressage coming in to his latest obstacle. And this is 5, the steel obstacle. Steel. Just chainsaws.
Chainsaw obstacle. There is one sticking a log somewhere.
Yeah. Well, last night where I was having dinner, there seemed to be masses of steel representatives in town. So know that they've had some part to play here.
He's going nice and steady.
Through 5. All these knockdowns. Have we seen a knockdown yet? I don't think we have at the moment.
It's a job to see, isn't it, on the screen?
You can see where the little yellow ball's on the cone.
Yeah. There's one on the floor.
Yes, there's one. 2 on the floor, so definitely a problem behind the trees. So that's going to be costly. And although it's not been registered yet, that will come through. I can tell you that Anthony Horde's score is 179.02 as his score. And just to, now he's finished. We haven't seen too much of the Jerome Voutaz going through.
No, we haven't. We'd like to see a bit more of him.
But may find that Johan Deng may getting, although he's struggling a little bit. Andreas Dressage out on the course. Thibaut Coudray will probably see the Belgian driver Dries take. You can see how he does, the 22-year-old, and going his way through the courses, and you get an idea. You've got so many crisscrosses in this compact area. 1 and 2 are sort of slightly off from the rest, but then the other 6 now is Johan Deng now.
Deng coming into 7.
Into 7. Let's see how he gets on here. It's not been. And 7 has 1 knockdown. And this is where we got the dancers, as you can see. As he comes through, that's through.
That's through B.
Back on for C. That's C done. Looking for D, which you've got to come back and round.
D's right on the far side.
Yeah.
That's it. D.
D, that's D through, and we're 7 here. And then
He's up by the stage somewhere.
Yes, he's
There you go.
now. That's E, right by the stage. and then looking for F, and that is the job done.
Girls tapping him on the shoulders whichever way he's got to turn.
Right, and leaning to make sure that they can power out, and that probably looks a better one there.
52.39.
I've seen a 52.89 so far, but a 52.39 for Deng. And this is
the number...
the flying Frenchman at the moment,
yeah,
setting the pace in terms of...
it's number 4.
Again, knockdowns lurking.
Yeah, he's rein handling. Watch his hands.
Johan Deng for Sweden is navigating a modern dance fest, ladies and gentlemen. Obstacle number 7.
Just down
Makes
to
a beautiful turn back, left-handed to come to the
Again, very smooth at the moment.
D gate, turns there now, gets through there beautifully.
That's it, it's tight here.
And Johan Deng drove
I think he's
through
missed
down to
that. Whoa,
41.170.
steady.
Oh, well, now he's just lost it.
Can he come home
Now
quicker
he's
than
got a-
Anthony
That's it, he's
Horde
working
from France?
through.
Come on, Johan
Clever
Deng.
boys.
And he's away.
So easy, just you lose a bit of momentum. It's so lost a bit of ground there.
Yes, he did.
59.03 is the score there. Been going very well for him up until then. First time we've seen him have a spot of bother.
A moment. But he didn't try and pull them back. It's very difficult to pull a team back. He just the wheelers and pulled was moved, and the leaders came back through, so it was easily done.
And that is, I think, Jerome Vutas finishing.
That's him at the end,
Yeah,
isn't it?
we
Yes.
didn't get to see him go through too many obstacles, but we will give you his score. One set farm, 179.02. Anthony Horde is the one score we have so far. As soon as that comes through, we'll let you know. But out on the course, there are carriage teams all over the place.
You don't know which one's going to pop up next.
No,
do
we
you?
don't know. We don't know. Testing our recognition. But most of them now,
Maria off,
yeah, well, the streets are still awash with people. We can see on our monitor who's out and about now, and on their way. Wending their way through the streets of Gothenburg to be greeted by thousands of spectators enjoying a currently dry day, although there are still some nasty looking clouds around. As about to start is, oops, well, they are supposed to be starting, yes they are now, is Joseph Dobrovich Jr. just beginning. And on his way is number 13. Help you when we pick him up again.
This is number 8.
3 years ago, he's driven at 4 World Championships.
Obstacle 8. And
2015, and competing in his third European
A.
in Gothenburg.
Down the bottom to B.
And this is Johan Deng.
This season third the World Cup in Netherlands, and
Navigator's doing her job, patting him on the shoulders. There you go.
also driving for Hungary. So 2 of the same family are here, both for the Hungarian team.
And the navigator is Pernilla Engström. Peter Johansson is his backstop.
He's driving very nicely.
Yeah, you know, he's picked up. He's had 1 or 2 problems, but just knocks there, having to turn back on himself, going through the final
There he
one.
goes.
And listen to the cheers as he's sent on his way. 1:01.14 is his time through 8. At the end.
Well, you can see it slow look. She's just patting him where to go. Next left.
But everyone will have a different system, won't they? Slightly different system as to how they work it.
My husband always told me I needed gloves with R&L on them.
Now you can see one of the knockdown balls there, but not knocked down in that case. Now we see what I mean by number 1 just going through, and that was Andreas Ryszicka, but he's not. That we pick up. This time we're picking up.
Into number 5.
This is
number 2.
No, it's number 7. Thibaut. Was it Dries?
Dries. It's Dries.
I think it's Thibaut actually with the number 7 here coming through.
On the back of the old
Yeah. Number 7. Number 7 with the French colours.
Yeah,
Thibaut, who's going well. Coming through 5.
Must be the leader so far on the marathon course, the quickest through the first 3 obstacles.
Looking through the times.
He's quickest through the first 3, so he's on a roll.
Still complex. The second out on the driving marathon for France.
Coming through.
Now we see Ryszicka.
And he's on his way. That was very good.
Very smooth.
Through 5. And 50.06. That's quick. He had that blip on the previous one. But that is better. And Johan Deng coming into the end, having done his, just looking at the time so far, seeing through obstacle 5, that was the best time so far, 52.02 through 5.
Did you see that? He was probably a bit early, and he had just to pull up.
It's a shame because we've had through 5 so far. We've had a 44.75. Jerome Voutaz through that. He's actually flown through a lot. Jerome Voutaz has actually so far produced the quickest time through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the obstacles so far. As they start to come up on the screen. We'll try and get you the overall positions as well.
Back in number 1 now. This is Junior Dobrovets.
Yep. Starting on his way.
2A. That's B.
I'll try and bring you up once we get some leaderboard scores coming in as well. But there we get an idea that.
Oh, hit that. There's no knockdowns.
No, not at the first. I think there's no knockdowns on the first.
He's had a very good drive. He's a second quickest. 54.53 for obstacle 1.
And let's see where he's starting.
He's away.
Oh, now this might be quick. It's
51.45.
Yep, that is the quickest time through 1 so far. So his times are getting quicker. And once again, we pick up Thibaut, who has been quick so far.
In number 6.
In number 6. Now let's see what he can do. Number 6, where the quickest time Jerome Voutaz has come up with a 49.97. And
pulling up the top to C. D is down the bottom.
Yep.
This is going to cut up, isn't it, this obstacle?
Well, it already is. So you can see, particularly around this bit, you can see,
yeah.
Oops, just has to little check, but it's all pretty good. He's been solidly quick. He was quickest at the moment in obstacle 2 and 3 so far.
Just got F to do.
50.06 he had in 5.
Come on, go.
And 57.14 was his time through 6. And that is the 3rd quickest time. Jerome Voutaz, he must have flown through there, 49.97. Now that is shifty.
It is.
And he will have done his, but we know he's quick, isn't he?
Yes.
And he's finished now with his last one. So it's been a good day for Jerome Voutaz, but Axel Olin is just about to start. And no doubt will be plenty of response from the Swiss crowd, sun out as well in the park. And heading on his way to the first. So Joseph Dobrovic off to a flying start. Now Hungary, obviously, the two Hungarian drivers have got to pick up. The Dobrovic father and son need a good day today because they've got a lot of ground to make up. And let's see how he gets on in the water here. Coming in. Here he comes.
Swinging around through B.
Let's see what kind of shortcut he makes through here. Yes, he's going on the angle, which seems to be the choice of the quicker combinations.
Now he's got to do a Yui.
Good Yui there. He's plenty of 55.77 is the quickest so far. Coming through it now.
That's it, he's away.
Ooh. What's his final time going to be coming out of 2? 56.16. That's not as quick as Thibaut Coudry, who was 55.77.
Wow.
But time's getting quicker. As we look back over going through that obstacle, so Jerome Vutas is sitting so far, having gone all 8 obstacles, for the quickest in 5 of the times. So that is pretty quick. So we'll hopefully get his overall score shortly.
20.
Number 20, that is Axel Oling going through 1, the Swedish driver, and with a 55.04 opening score in the dressage. Where's he going to come up with? The quickest through there was Joseph Dobrovic with a 51.45, the previous competitor. And see that certainly when Anthony Horde went through with about a minute, as Sally said, it was cautious, it was a pathfinding drive, but we're looking at some much quicker times now. But how
He was quite quick in that. It's good.
And so,
Can't see a time for that one.
no, not a time for at the moment, but Joseph Dobrovic 51.45. We'll see if they'll get a time on that, as coming through at the end
Into the finish.
is Andreas Rusicka. No time of his looks like is going to, as they say, a steady round, looking at the scores for him. Currently did the last obstacle in 105.9. Now into obstacle number 7, we have Thibaut Coudry, who's been quick so far. But I tell you what, Jerome Vutas flew through this in 41.17. I don't know what he's on today, but
Oh, no, they were just all working together, weren't they? It was a pleasure to watch.
Yeah.
You just...
But he knows what he is, the flying, and you were waxing lyrical about his type of horses that he has as well. Those, and they really do work well for him. But let's see how Thibaut's going to get on here. Obstacle number 7. 41.17 a time to beat. Don't think he's going to beat that, as he has turns through E. The dancers have changed by the looks of things.
Got different clothes on.
Or, well, they should be warm enough by now if it's the same lot. Coming out now, but that puts into context just how good Jerome Vutas' time was at 41.17, because he's come through in 49.30, and he didn't seem as if he was slow there. So, a good round, but Jerome Vutas is the flying machine. And not many more going through the streets of Gothenburg now. We're coming to today will be the last of them. So Theo Timmerman and Ysbrand Chardon and Marika Hammer are on their way.
They're all just warming up, so to speak.
Yeah. But this is obstacle number 2. Next to go, and we're waiting on, I think Axel Olin will be heading towards it. Looks as if that's him heading towards it now. And let's see what he can do coming through here.
There's lots of encouragement because he's a Swede.
Yep, well, he will have.
He's going to have all the shouting that he needs.
Right, here he goes. Let's see what he can do here.
Straight through.
No. Round. It's getting nicely wet there now, avoiding F. On the angle to go across the bridge. Now to C and...
Left-handed down and then a Yui back out again. Oh, he's gone round the flower bud. Down the centre thing. That's quite good because it keeps up the speed, doesn't it?
So sometimes, yes, because a choice of...
Yeah, definitely.
Oops. One of the
Slipping around
wheelers
a bit.
just slipping coming out of the water. And the best time is Thibaut Coudry through 2:55.77. Now F, not bad. But it's going to be... Just lost a bit of momentum.
They've just lost it, haven't they? Come on, boys.
So, and listen to the cheers as he goes out, but it's a 1:0.
1:40, 1 minute 42 seconds.
1 minute, 0.42.
0.42.
That's never lost 1 point, telling time, but we need to. But that's in about 5 seconds slower than Thibaut Coudry as we look at him going through the obstacle again. Having to work really hard. It's getting cut up now. The water's splashing everywhere. As this is
Dobrovic's daddy.
Yep. And he has on him. He is 12. You'll spot the number on the back there. You can see it says 12. So for watching, help you identify which driver we are looking at.
Senior. Oh no, this is
great.
Great.
This is Thibaut Coudry coming through the last obstacle. He's been flying around pretty consistently so far. Quickest through 2 and 3 so far. How's he going to do through his final obstacle? And you can hear him urging him on numbers. He's got 7 on his back. 59.88 was his dressage score when he was in 17th spot. But his performance today will certainly move him up the leaderboard by the looks of things, as far as that is concerned.
A lot to do.
Looking at his time, 53 seconds with Jerome Voutaz's time. I mean, that's bonkers, isn't it? From a starting point, well, just getting a little bit, not quite the momentum through that. Coming out, and it's over a minute. Just 1 minute, 61 seconds, .19 is the time through there. That is 8 seconds slower than Jerome Voutaz. I mean, that is impressive, but it will be an indication of how many people are going to beat that his times, where Jerome Voutaz, second to go, is currently quickest in 5 of the 8 obstacles. Joseph Dobrovic through first was a 51.45.
Dobrovic, senior, to 1.
No, will he beat his son's time?
That could be interesting.
As he's on his way.
Down to B. He goes.
Oops.
Right the way around the flowers. Up to C.
Smooth.
Yeah, the horses are the leaders are going forward nicely for him. Down to D.
You can hear him barking out his orders.
Yeah.
And they're getting the response.
And out.
And what's the
That was
time?
good.
That was good. Just no time on our clock, but I'll see what happens when it comes up on our scoring system in front of us. But 51.45 was Sun's score. And here is Sun now. Number 13 is Joseph Jr. coming into obstacle number 4.
Right up through A. Let's see if his leaders are listening. Then it could be. This is tight, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, 50.22, I think, is the score, is the best. And yes, it's that man Vutas again.
Right, let's see what he does with the middle bit now. Nice. So he's going a different way.
1 minute 11 seconds, the slowest sadly through the modern dance obstacle, but now one of the best of all time will be coming down.
And I tell you what,
that was good.
That was very smooth.
That was very good.
And this is looking a quick time. Can he beat Jerome Vutas' time? Yes, he can. 50.13. Whoops, brakes on. You see what I did? As we watch Axel Olin come into 3 here. Best time, Thibaut Coudray, 56.83.
That's it, a canter down to the bottom, a B.
Oh, no, he's got into a pickle there.
They'll be all right. There they go.
But that's going to be times.
It stopped forward momentum. That's better. He's got it now.
Concentration, whatever, he's got to be absolutely on the money the whole time. As he continues on his...
I think he missed that gate, had to do a circle and come back and do it again, which is fine. It's just time.
And you've also got to have the presence of mind to react so quickly when things do
go wrong. You've got to know where your next gate is and the best way of getting to it if you've fluffed up.
So you have to have plan B, but as you said, that's slow through there, 1:13.84. So, you know, obviously from a Swedish perspective, wanting to get a medal, and they were in 4th spot after the first 2 days, but I'll tell you what, Thibaut Coudray's had a really good day, looking consistent day through the various tests. Now, Dobrovic Senior
will fly the water.
56.16 Sun did, but the quickest is Coudray, 55.77 so far. Coming through.
Oh, he's just
really quick there.
Gosh.
That was quick. Didn't we see his son went round, didn't he?
He went, went round the flowers,
But it was almost, but just as soon as they were on the turn, the moment they were through the gate, great control. Let's see how much it's cutting up through F. This is quite quick. It is quick.
It is quick.
And it's going to be 54.05. That's the quickest through 2 so far. Dobrovic Senior producing the quickest through 2, and some really experienced driving there from Joseph Dobrovic Senior, particularly through the C gate, the way he got his horses to respond and go on their way. 54.05. So, and look at the urgings from Joseph, a very competitive individual.
Very.
And desperate to make sure that Hungary can maintain their sequence of medals at major championships. And his
belt's on. It's hanging loose, look, the groom's let go of it.
Well, 54.05. He's also, so that's a good response. Sun with 56.16. Now, the next one that we can pick up is Axel Olin again, coming into obstacle number 4. He's had his struggles so far. Quickest through 4 is Joseph Dobrovic Jr. So Hungary having a successful start, but of course many big combinations still to come, but gives you an indication of looking at the times. And I'll tell you what, Jerome Vutas, amazing performance from him. This is better from Axel Olin.
Oops.
Got the knockdown. Says has he knocked anything down at the moment? Looks all intact still.
I can't see anything missing.
No. We're looking for the tennis balls on the stands, and he's through that. And that's good. That's much better. 53.16. Not the quickest, 50 seconds around about that mark for Joseph Dobrowitz Jr. as the next competitor comes to an end. And just confirm who, I think that might be Martin. That's Dries Dijkgrijk. He was quite quick through 3 and 4. And his last obstacle he went through in 58, so not bad. And he was quick through 5 as well with a 46.8. A couple of seconds slower than the flying Swiss as we pick up Dobrowitz Senior through 3.
Let's see what he does here.
56.83, the quickest. 0.83.
We've seen a couple of incidents here, haven't we, where people have got gates wrong, have bet things wrong.
Nothing wrong there.
No, he's good.
It was Axel Olin who got it wrong the last time he went through. And this is quick. Cutting back inside the
Slippy,
tree.
doesn't it?
But he kept it together there really well. And that it's on the camber. Turning back. And as he's coming out now, this is quite quick, I think.
Yep.
That's good. That's the quickest time so far. 56.02 through 3. Dobrowitz Senior, the Hungarians recovering after yesterday, but the Dobrowitz father and son combination off to a good start, as you would expect. Typical of the pair, but good performances so far coming from, but dad outpointing son. But,
definitely.
But that happens a lot. But Dad doing well. Dad is heading off to 4. Junior has had the quickest time through 4. And but Jerome Voutaz still now losing one of his, has lost top spot in terms of quickest through 4. Still quickest through the final 4 obstacles.
And we've got the fastest to come yet.
Absolutely. Heading into it is, this is obstacle, is Joseph Dobrowitz Jr. here.
He's done a B up the top to C.
Cutting up a little bit on the side. This is, you can see they're sliding around. That's where the backstop's going to have to get the control.
Three. Swinging round. Whoops, nearly went the wrong way. This way. Right brain. That's better. Through F. Now he's gone. Now he's away. That's good. 59.42 for that one. That's Dobrowitz Senior.
Well, we got Senior and Junior together.
Looks like it.
Are they having a chat? How are you going, son? So now nearly halfway through in terms of soon we'll see Yuri Nesvicil Jr., one of the independent, well, the second of the individuals. 5's getting cut up now, isn't it? You can see parts of obstacle 5 is definitely being cut up as we see Axel Olin go through. And tell you the score, there's some individual. Jerome Voutaz, we'll check his score in a moment, but his penalty scores at the moment.
Be cheered on by the home crowd. There we go. That's Axel finished.
Yep.
That one.
And heading on his way now, we got Fredrik Persson,
Fredrik, yes.
who is the leading Swedish competitor, number 21. Had a score of 51.32. And scores starting to come through.
Well, 10 more to go, ladies and gentlemen, and new starters on course, and he is the last for Sweden. An experienced man in the second.
So Joseph Dobrevits going into obstacle number 4, and he's been putting down some good scores so far.
He's cleared A, swinging round to B.
Finals this year here in Gothenburg. And this is second European
Left rein round into looking for C.
Games in Aachen 2 years ago.
Keeping clear of all the tennis balls.
On course. Ja, och i arthindret så har vi då pappa Josef Dobrevits från Ungern.
And going through.
Now let's see how he wiggles through this middle bit. That's good.
Is in obstacle number 4, the modern art
That's
obstacle.
good.
The time to beat him there is...
And away he goes.
Oh, this is quite a quick time through 4, and 51.81. It's not the quickest. I think his son's done quicker. That's number 12, Joseph Dobrevits Senior. But they're producing a consistent performance, those two, at the moment.
And they're not crashing and banging anything. I don't suppose you can afford to with all those knockdowns on there.
We haven't seen too many knockdowns, have we?
No, we haven't.
There was...
The grey team had
Johan,
a knockdown, didn't they?
And Rasitsko, I think he had a few down on the penalty front. So...
Who's coming into now, I wonder?
Where are we now? We're into, this is number 1, and this, I think, is Fredrik Persson. I'm pretty sure. Yes, it is. Coming in.
Come on, Fredrik.
Let's see what he can do.
Yeah.
51.45 is the quickest so far, I believe. So we haven't got a timing clock here, so...
Clear D. Oh, come on, boys.
No, not quite as flowing early on.
He seems to be taking number 1 cautiously, doesn't
yes,
he?
Yes, he does, definitely.
Now he's just got to go up to F and he's away. They're not working together.
Well, you can see the clock on there. They're saying 55. It's all a bit of a scrap there. So he needs to hope to find a bit more. He's through there, but that's not going to be desperately quick. So currently the 3 Swedish not having it all their own, not going well. But Joseph Dobrevits Jr. is now coming into 7. And let's see what he can do now. He's in there. Working hard.
His team are working together, aren't they?
Yes.
The leaders are listening and
really working
seem
well
to be
together.
knowing where they're going before they get there, which is good.
You almost can see the way the horses' heads are just almost ready to go. They're not second guessing anything.
No, they're just being told where to go and they're doing as they're told.
Now on E.
Yep.
Now, one more to go. F.
He's away.
He's away. Now, what's looking at...
44, 45.
I'll tell you what.
That was good.
But it's not... I mean, I don't know what Jerome Vutas did through there, but he went through 41.17.
I told you those little Swiss cobs are magic.
Well, we did, that was quick. That was flying machine, Joseph Dobrevits, but Jerome Vutas earlier, I'm sad that we didn't see that. Well, he just scorched his way around, but shows what's possible.
But they found the water hard, didn't they, those little horses? They were slow in there because it was hard going for them.
Well,
but the rest of them, they've just flown.
Yeah. Oh, he is And of course, he had a great indoor season where I finished his second in Gothenburg.
We were here and watched him.
I mean, he really, well, here's the current leaderboard, and there is 165.24, and Kudry, good score of 107.22, De Griek 175.38. So Vutaz has gone into the individual lead at the moment and really picked up significant, having started the day in 20th. He will find himself way up the leaderboard, but dressage we always knew was going to be more of an issue for him.
They're not really dressage horses.
Yeah, well, Theo Timmerman is on his way. The last of the competitors is doing Section A now and is wending his way around the streets.
It's Frederick.
Let's see what
Frederick's in the water.
Can he improve?
Needs to light them up a bit. Come on, boys.
Yes, they were a bit spark through the first one. They're not. When you were watching Joseph Dobrovitz's horses.
Whoa. Well, that's a bit silly, wasn't it?
Well, it didn't work.
No, he didn't.
So now he can go. He's had to go through that again.
Well, he could go through A backwards and then go into C. So all was not lost.
But he had to respond quickly. And now he's having to play catch-up. So it's not a good... Swede's not having a great day at the moment.
No, he's just got E there and then back into the water. Come on, Frederick.
This is slow, over a minute, so not good. It's not been a good start for Frederick Persson.
I think he'd been drinking too much Swedish beer
Well,
last night.
No, clearly not. Clearly not. No, Sally.
Come along, wake up, Frederick.
Well, the horses need to just find a way, just to find some spark. They're just not quite connecting at the moment.
And he needs to steer.
Right, okay.
Away from the posts.
Yes. Now
someone's going into Dobrovitz, isn't
it's
it?
a 13 going in. This is Joseph Jr. into obstacle, or is this into 5? This is senior. Going into, yes, 12. This is senior.
Yep.
12, number 12, Joseph Dobrovitz, going well. And again, compared to Frederick Persson,
exactly.
Look at the way the horses are just...
They're listening and they're going forward.
And immediately they had to turn direction left, the horses responded in a blink.
Leaders have got their ears forward, they're listening, they're being steered in advance, they know where they've got to go next.
Look at how good that, and of course we've got knockdowns here. I don't think we've seen anything
everywhere,
around here, but...
Go on.
That was a good one through.
Brilliant.
5.
Brilliant.
Well, not as quick as his son, but 44.75 Jerome Vutaz's score.
But it was good to watch.
Yeah, but again, and as we pick up with this is
Glenn Geertz,
the Belgian.
Yeah, he's good.
One of the, well, he's 28-year-old, same age as Edouard Simonet, and of course Belgium in bronze medal position after the dressage yesterday. Just didn't quite flow through that little section there.
These are big Hanoverian horses, aren't they?
Big.
Are they Hanoverian? No, they're not.
I will tell you. Now they are
KPNs, they're Dutch thoroughbreds. Well, Dutch, yeah.
But that was good.
Very strong.
A strong start for waiting on his time through there. Hasn't come up on our screen yet, but Glenn Geertz is on his way.
Here we go. Here's another Dobrovitz.
Well, this is in this is senior.
Senior again.
Through 5.
Through B. Oh, he's hit that.
There's no knockdowns.
There's no knockdowns.
No,
It doesn't
knockdowns.
matter. There's up to C, down to D.
This is 6, obstacle 6.
Yeah. Just coming up to D now.
Again, the horses
Belgium, one of the very strong driving nations in this competition.
Up the top to E, there it is.
cutting up as well significantly. Now he's got
He's
F
going
to
to go round the flowers and away. 54, 55, 56. There's Glenn Geertz coming into the water. Big strong horses will pull the carriage through there. Through A, right hand down, back into the water. You can't go between the concrete pillars because that's F, so you have to go round them. Over the bridge. Left rein. Now let's see how he's going to do the turn to come back out. He's going round the flower tub and out. That's different. That is different. Back over the bridge.
Yeah, because that's the only first time.
That's the first one that's done that.
Let's see what difference that makes to the timing.
Yeah. He's just
Numbers.
He's got to go back through E, which is here.
54.05 is the quickest. Now he's got to turn back on F.
And get out. He's not going to do
No,
it.
he's not. Is it going to make any? No, it almost feels slower.
Yes, but you look at the conditions of the ground around those gates now. They're probably sinking in, and you don't know how deep they're sinking into the water either. Because those carriages look as though they're going in quite a long way.
Well, the backstop. No, we see here again doing his urging on his 4 horses.
Right, now someone's coming to number 1.
Number 1.
Yep.
If we've just seen George von
Stein.
George von Stein, I think, is next. Yes, that is in the German livery.
Yeah.
And it is George von Stein. He had his sub 50 score in the dressage yesterday. First time he'd achieved that since 2012. Trained, of course, with Boyd Excel, part of the German team. So he was the discard score at 48.37. And the Germans, though, very much looking to put the pressure on the Dutch.
Up he goes to the top of the obstacle. Now he's got to come down back to E. That's it. And now up to F, which is at the top, in the distance from the very end there. And left hand out, and then they can just go and finish back to through the timing equipment. There we go.
Haven't got the time for that one. We don't quite, but Joseph Dobrovits was 51.45. We just seem to be having on the gate obstacle 1. That's not being so on their way now to the water obstacle, and so next will be coming out onto the course will be the Frenchman Ben Ayo, 48.37, identical score to George early on. So there's confirmation of the leaderboard. Joseph Dobrovits Jr. 162.48 has put him into the individual lead today. We'll keep an eye on the as Glenn Geertz is now coming into obstacle number 3. And let's see where 56.02. I think Joseph Dobrovits Sr. came through quickest there.
He did.
Let's see what he can do. We've seen the odd problem here, but not in Glenn Geertz's case here. That's
clear through B. He's got to go back up to C at the top of the hill.
It's really cutting up.
It's just a slight incline, isn't it, really?
But it's cutting up now. Oops.
There we go, that's fine.
They responded quickly, didn't they?
They did.
And the obstacle run there, just turning back on himself and heading back and round. And let's see, obstacle number 3, it's all right, but nothing too minute now. That's quite slow, in 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Sort of out the best side, the best time. That's probably not what Belgium are looking for. They're trying to put pressure on the Germans, but George von Stein is on his way, and we'll probably see him come into the water in a moment. But see the some repairs being done between the drivers as coming through is one of the Swedes coming to end. That's number 20, Axel Olin, coming to finish. Did all right, he's in 1 or 2 of them, but nothing spectacular. As we now pick out, coming into 7, is Joseph Dobrovic Senior coming through. And the Hungarians have responded well today. They will move up the team leaderboard, definitely, as the Swedes have... oh, just a little check there.
Right, they've wiggled through B.
Well, this is where you think, what Jerome Vutas, I don't know what he was doing through here. I want to see that one.
We'll have to watch it again. Now,
Oh, no. Oh, little check there. That's costly.
They're not going all of a sudden.
No, suddenly they've lost a bit of concentration.
All those dancers has put them off.
Well, they're not moving, the dancers. Now coming to E, he's got to turn back on himself, then to F.
Yep.
That's better. They've responded now. It's not bad. But it's.
That wasn't the best one, was it,
no.
for him? 53.03.
You can see there Jerome Vutas' score there. You saw on the screen just how quick he was. That must have been take your breath away time as we see George von Stein head towards the water. Best time there, 54.05. Let's see what route he takes now with it churning up. This will be the... You see there, the backstops are really having to work there to get the grip. Good angle through there. Now this is the...
Down into C. Now is he going to... He's
going
around the flowers. That's Boyd's advice, I would think. Keep them flowing forward in that wet mud. Don't stop it. That's good.
Now, going well.
Now he's gone a different way.
Okay.
He's gone a different way. He's just gone out the other way. And that was good.
And this is quite quick.
Yeah, that looked as though
But
it worked
it's
well.
54.05 Joseph Dobrovic Senior had, so actually, see, it's interesting. It must be getting tougher.
I'm sure it is.
Even though that felt quick.
It looked quicker, didn't it?
Yeah. But
Just-
it's not. You know, that puts into context just how good the time was. And give you a leaderboard so far.
Now here's Dobrovic coming into number 8. The senior. Through A.
See George von Stein in the background there.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's having a casting beady eye as he's heading round.
That's better.
Yeah.
Communications really been restored, I think.
It was just in 7. They had that little blip midway through.
They did. Yeah, the leaders are going again now. Look, they're on song.
Yeah, look at me, it's pricked.
Yeah, that little grey's going,
Grey's
okay, I know where I'm going.
And barging the other one, saying, right, get over, get over.
Yeah.
This is, oops, but not bad.
There you go. That's him done.
And all right, 58.22. There's, I think the ground is churning up a bit, so it's going to be hard for the others. And you did mention that, Sally, saying that with the way the ground is and the rain, that as all the competitors went through, it would become hard to really nail it.
He's Glenn.
Glenn Geertz now.
Yeah, he's in. Now these are big horses to be in here. Let's just see how they go. He's just gone through A. As B. Oh, they do seem to fill in the gaps, don't they? They are huge.
Just tell you the score for Joseph Dobrovic
C.
was 106.50 in the marathon, but his combined total is 162.48. Why he's in the lead. Jerome Vuitaz, well, he scored the best time so far in the marathon, not surprising, 102.88.
Wow.
And has finished now on 165.24, just to give you an idea. And we'll bring you up to date with all the scores as they happen as we watched Glenn Geertz go through this obstacle.
Ah, he's got a ball off.
Right, so he'll pick up 8 seconds.
Yes, he's cross with himself.
There you could see the reaction.
And he knocked it off coming out, which is really silly, isn't it?
If you say so, Sally, I'm being neutral. If you want to go and talk to Glenn about that afterwards,
No,
that's...
he was cross with himself.
Well, you could see, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And there is competitor number 12 finishing, Joseph Dobrovic. And our commentary position is quite windy.
Dobrovic Senior has only got one eye.
I know, and that
Isn't that amazing?
it is extraordinary. And he's a real character anyway, but that adds to the sort of mystique. And
Well, it
sort of-
does.
Well, I don't know how he does it, but anyway, he's...
I notice he wears glasses now, so
Yeah.
he doesn't get any dust or bits
Well,
in
he's...
his eye.
And, well, it'll be interesting to see how his score is in compared to, and what it's doing to the, when we get his score through on the team situation.
Benjamin,
Ayer on his way.
let's see how he does in the mud.
Not bad.
Oh, it's good.
See the navigator's got a GoPro on, so probably they look.
Now he's gone the other way too.
Yeah.
The word's got round, I should think. Yeah.
Yep. Oops. Sliding around back. Just see how much he's cutting up now, isn't it? Now I've got one more bit to go through. As they continue on their way.
57.39 in there.
50, and so that's pretty good. Pretty good. As we watch him through there, 57.39. That's fourth quickest through there so far. What's the context of Joseph Dobrovic Senior, I think it was.
You see, look how deep that water is there. That's got deeper, Robin. That really has. It's breaking up underneath, isn't it?
Well, it's probably likely to, isn't it? But
Yeah.
we haven't got many more to go through. We've
No.
got 6 more to go through. Costa Ronda will be the next as we pick up the action now with... This is 21, and that is confirming is Fredrik Persson, the Swede, coming through this obstacle. Hasn't really happened for him today, just...
No, it hasn't.
Horses just haven't clicked. Be frustrating for him because obviously he'd had a pretty good dressage, and but see there, they just don't seem to have quite the impulsion, do they, of some of the others that we've seen through. It's all a bit more of a struggle. There you go. See, they were.
They're just not.
Yeah, you could see one was looking to go left and the other was going right.
Yeah. .66.
Well, nothing spectacular.
No.
You know, the Jerome Vuitaz, well, I mean, he's nailed it today. I mean, he's on fire. But it's been intriguing. And looking at the...
Here's Koos coming into
well,
one.
let's see how, because he was frustrated yesterday. Got his wife acting as navigator.
Yeah, she's always there.
Yeah. Let's see how he does.
Through B. Up through C.
Well, just to score on Joseph. Joseph Jr. is beating Dad now in combined scores, once, but not by much. By 162.48 beats 162.95, which is nothing.
Now, Koos, come on. He's done F. He should be away now.
Yeah, well, no news on what that score is going to come in at the moment. We're just waiting for the timing on that. Joseph Dobrovic Senior did 48.69. That's the quickest I've seen through that so far. Confirmed scores through the various obstacles, and is the quickest. But Jerome Vuta is still quickest through 6, 7, and 8. In third on 165.24. Axel Olin's in fourth, Thibaut Coudry in fifth at this stage on the overall standings for the individual. But
Benjamin in 3.
The Hungarians have come back, haven't they?
They have.
Which is what we would have expected them to. So they've given themselves a chance, and Cohen's obviously tomorrow. Coming round.
C, back down. Is that D? That's D. Roundy in the middle. Okay. He's away. That's good. Neatly done. We haven't got any timings yet. Dobritz Jr. is still in the lead, and Senior's just behind. Right. Georg van Stein.
And the best also to start the top 5 all to lead the start box. And 2 of those for Germany, 2 of them for the Netherlands, and the 1 for Belgium in that final 5 to battle for the European team and individual title.
It's Christoph Sandman starting section B. Putting the belt on the driver to make sure it doesn't fall out. Doesn't do to lose your driver.
Tell you who has had a good day. We didn't see much of him. It's the Czech driver. Sadly, we didn't see much of him.
No, we didn't, did we?
Yuri Nesvasils finished on 164.93,
Yeah.
finishing score of 112.55. So he's moved up into third spot overall. Dobrovic Jr. leading Dad, but by that very narrow margin. But of course, we're now getting to the...
Koos is now in the water, in the mud.
How's he doing through here? Looking at the
Good, good. Let's just see if he comes out. Yeah, he's coming out. They're all changing, coming out the other way now, over the bridge. Then right turn down into D.
It's hard work now through that
That is
water
hard
obstacle.
work.
You really see having to work hard.
There we go. That's him done. So he's
Well, the times now, it's definitely... They're
taking
all around.
longer.
It's taking much longer now.
Yep.
Taking near a minute to get through that, where the quickest time early on was Joseph Dobrovic, a senior, was 54.05, so
Yeah.
6 seconds. So that's definitely been an advantage going earlier, but the way that is churning up. But it's the way it works.
That's the way it is. And it's the same for all of them at the end, so...
They all know.
Yeah.
But it adds another dimension to makes it close and interesting for the remainder of the marathon. And on the team competition, we'll worry about that towards the end, because obviously that's an evolving situation.
Here's Georg going into the still one.
Georg von Stein, the German driver, the first of the three to go through. We've got Christoph Sandmann, who we'll see shortly, and Marika Hahn, the only lady driver. Those horses are working up quite a lather, the lead horses. But working well.
Going nicely, aren't they? That's good.
It is, when you see four of them, the communication, it is amazing to appreciate the skill. Whoa. Well, commentators curse, they call that, Sally.
Right. No, they're fine. They're fine.
Well, that's good through there.
That was good.
48.27. And where do we reckon that? Not bad through there. That's a quick time, and that puts him fourth quickest through that obstacle, but still 3.5 seconds slower than Jerome Vutas.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in awe, because these look quick, don't they, some of these? As we're watching, this is Christoph's now moving from, of course, they're in silver medal position. How's he getting through that? There we go.
Well,
Oops.
they're all a bit keen and not listening at the minute.
Well, interesting what you said earlier on. You said the Section A, it hadn't really taken any sort of edge off them, and maybe there's a reflection of that, possibly.
I think so. They need a bit more than a walk in the park. Now, here we go.
Well, this is Glenn Geertz.
Glenn, yes.
This is 7.
Now, his horses will be listening by, by now. Never mind. Down to B.
And particularly that turn is where it's really now churning.
Yeah.
I think it's standing up pretty well, you know, all things considered.
It is. It's really good.
Whoops. But that's...
I don't think that matters.
No.
I think it's just a bit of timber that's fallen off.
No, there's no knockdown there. Coming back on himself through this.
Right, he's got to the top to E. Down the obstacle. Back through F in a way. That's it. One minute, 0.2.
Well, probably, well, all right, I think probably, but nothing spectacular.
No.
And here we pick up with Georg von Stein. Oh no, sorry, Christoph Sandmann coming into the water. Let's see how he gets on. Swinging round there.
Those leaders are really switched on, aren't they?
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Given the conditions, this looks sharp.
Ah, what's he doing? He's doing a different way out. Look.
Yep. He's gone clockwise rather than anti-clockwise.
Yeah. But he's doing a really tight turn there, look.
Because it actually just a flow, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The flow round, you could see what he was thinking.
Yeah. Now he's going straight out through E.
Now going to turn
and
back
round to F.
Oh, this is... In recent...
That's good.
Given where the others have been around about a minute, he's found 2 seconds there on some of the others. And actually, that's the 5th quickest time, 58.31. Good effort there.
I think that's about the 3rd different route we've seen, isn't it, of that one? All the others have been more or less the same.
Well, that was the fact that clockwise moved through after C. That was the change. And then he can come back onto D. It was the way he was able to...
Do a short D.
Yeah, very clever. But it shows you how everyone sees an obstacle in a different way, and then maybe they'll be thinking, as coming to the end is Fredrik Persson, the Swedish driver. It never happened for him today.
No, it didn't.
It,
They just weren't.
they weren't. Now, this is going to be a big test for Marika
There's
Hahn,
Marika.
31-year-old. She actually filled in your shoes last time because she wasn't in the team, but well, a distinctive carriage there, very colourful
Good,
carriage.
isn't it?
Yeah, very spectacular. But let's see how she gets on. It's a big chance for her because she's a determined competitor, and it's she is flying the flag here for lady drivers, and she was the first to go in the dressage, which it's always difficult, whether it be
that was a toughie, wasn't it?
But she nailed it with 46.13.
Yeah.
And there she comes down. Lovely scenes through the trees and the park here in the Gothenburg city. That's why I've been here in the winter, but the first time I've been here in the summer, and it's been an absolute joy to be here. And the Swedes love their summer, clearly, because obviously it gets a bit colder.
It was jolly cold in February, wasn't it?
No, I came for an indoor final show jumping they had here.
Oh, right.
And yes, it would have been jolly cold in February. Were you here for that?
Yes. It snowed.
Yeah, well,
It was good.
It was very good.
Come on, Marika, you can do this.
Come on,
through C.
This is the first obstacle. Working hard. How do you think the horses have started? Not at the moment.
No,
doesn't feel zippy, does he? Not enough zip at the moment.
They're all just a bit starry-eyed, aren't they?
Needs to give them a little bit of a G up. She's going through. Christoph Sandman's the third quickest through here, so Dobrovic is to set the pace, but, well, still 7 more to go, and it's all about building momentum and keeping the concentration for the horses as they head off now down to the water, number 2, which is really churned up. And now Kusterond. Let's see how he gets on at this next obstacle, number 4. 56.47. He had a quick time through 3 as he goes through 4, which we haven't seen too much of.
No, we haven't.
Joseph Dobrovic, checking which one had the quickest. Junior had the quickest time through here of 50.13. So let's see.
Just got to go do C. Here we are.
There's some knockdowns here. You can see the little yellow balls, but so far so good.
Now this is the centre bit. Let's see if he can wiggle his way through here.
Yes.
Are they listening? Yep. They are.
And that's looking quite quick through there.
52. Is that
well,
good?
He may have wanted better. 50 is the winning time through there. 50 with Joseph Dobrovic, 50.13. Now,
Lonstein.
Coming up now. Number 11 is, as Sally said, George von Stein. And his horses have been...
Ooh.
Whoa!
He's jumping the bits. Never mind.
Have been pretty good.
Oops.
Oh, something's been knocked down there, but I think that's all right. There's no...
I don't think there are any.
No, not an obstacle 6. I think we're all right on 6.
I think it shows.
Yeah, sort of in a way. And 6, the quickest time through 6 is a 49.97.
He's got to E. He's got this F gate.
Yeah, coming round, turning back, right hand down, through there.
Hard right.
And head on out. Not bad. 58.27. So, well, nearly 10 seconds slower than Jerome Voutaz, who admittedly was second to go and had the best of the ground. as we pick up Marika Ham through the water. Let's see what she can do here. Have the horses found a little bit of something? Not at the moment. Playing a steady game here. Taking the longer route run there.
Yep.
So maybe there's a...
See, what's she going? Round.
More the
Round the tub in the middle.
Anti-clockwise route.
Yeah. So will she take the short route into D? Yep, she will. Oh, well, no, she won't.
She's missed it, but she's
Come on, boys. Sneak, that's it. Sneak through.
I wonder whether, and I'm just sort of guessing here, with the fact that you've got George von Stein and Christoph Sandman, you know, maybe say, look at those, keep as hurt the score, maybe the discard, just get round, no mistakes, and then be ready for the cones. As a team,
be safe.
Be safe.
Yeah, get a score at the end.
For a team perspective.
Yeah, that's right.
And then come out on the cones. I mean,
I think you're right.
From a team orders point of view, because in that, it's always going to be hard. See how hard it's working, but cautious through there.
Oh dear, that's cold.
And muddy, but goes with the territory.
It does, I'm afraid.
And, crowd enjoyed that. Spectacular scenes that we have through.
Ah, Edouard
now.
Simonet.
This is a big moment for Edouard Simonet. He's been flying this season, and in marathons.
And indoors.
Yeah, everywhere. He just has burst onto the scene. I first had the privilege of meeting him in Budapest last year at the indoor, and hungry for success, I think, is the, but charming with it too. So good luck to him as we watch
Glenn,
his compatriot.
Yeah.
Trying to, this is through 8 here. And had a good time through 7. And he's had some, he's got better, 49.98 he had through 7.
Yeah, they're going all right, aren't they?
Yeah, they are working well, the lead horses.
Yep.
Coming through, last one.
That was a good turn.
Frederick Pearson's final score got his 168.7.
Yeah, that's fine. He's safety home.
Well, the bell does what they're looking for.
Yeah.
They're just getting a team score.
That's an amazing bit of rain handling there.
We'll keep an eye on the team composition at the moment.
He's Edouard in number 1.
Well, the Hungarian total at the moment is 325.43, because obviously both have gone, and the others will get a feeling in a moment once the all of them start to come through, where the team situations, as Edouard is going through 1.
Come on, boys.
They look
a bit quicker. They're good, aren't they?
Yeah. This is a bit more purpose about them. There's energy.
Yeah.
Time's looking all right as we come towards the end.
That's it, F, and he's away.
I think that's quite a good time. Here we go.
Go on.
It's not the quickest, but it'll do as a starting point.
Yeah.
53, well, I think the clock's still going, so, but there is a busy time out on the course. There's all the combination as
he's pleased with
Glenn
himself.
Kearts
3.
comes and finishes. Get an idea on his score in a moment or two. Huge, let out a breathe.
Yeah.
And we're getting now to the business end of the competition. And and on the individual. We'll keep you up to date with how that's panning out. There's confirmation of where we are at the moment. Here in Nesville, a very good round from him, picking up and moving into thirds, the Czech driver. And but it's the Dobrovic 1 and 2 at the moment. Junior beating senior after two really. Just sort of reflecting on their performances, the horses really did respond, as we pick up now Benjamin Ayo going through earlier. And there is Cousterond and the water. His wife navigating for him. As now coming into obstacle number 6, churning up is Cousterond.
That is getting a mess, isn't it?
It is a mess, but there's only 5 more to come through after here.
On the side of the hill, that's 6.
Let's see how
Away.
Complex is remaining.
There he goes.
horse is working well.
Nestled in the trees there.
The power comes from the wheelers, doesn't it?
It does.
They give the impulsion to the.
Yeah.
They're the workhorses.
They are.
Depending on where you live, if I sort of like a rugby forward.
That's it.
Yeah. The workhorses.
Yeah, your fly halves are in the front.
Yeah, the fly halves are in the front. If you don't know your rugby, I'm sorry if we've confused you, but we're trying that as a sporting analogy. Tell you what.
That was pretty quick.
That looked quick through 6:50. Yes, it was. It's the second quickest. 51.83.
Yeah.
That was, and it was smooth, wasn't it? Now Edouard Simonet. Now let's see what the Belgian bomber can do here.
See what he can do in the mud. They don't care about mud, do they?
No, no. At the moment, that's the last thing on their mind. But the horses now. This is where's he going to go here? He's
going out a sensible route.
Sensible, not try and take that short route over the bridge. Now, what about this one, C? Which way round? Oh, he's taking the short route round. Lots of others haven't.
Now will he do the same with D? Yep. Gee whiz. Trouble is, it stops them dead, doesn't it?
Is there any other way you would think of doing it?
Not really. Only Boyd's way.
Right. Which was the sort of clockwise way around the...
But he knows his horses so well.
And you can see that too.
And they trust him.
Now he's just got F to... Oh, he's out.
He's out.
He's
done
out.
It. Yeah. 54-16. That's good.
That was
Excellent.
unbelievable. When did he do F?
Oh, he did F.
I'm suddenly thinking, that was quick. Have I missed an obstacle?
No.
Well, that's the second quickest time, 50.1. Well, fair play, Edouard Simonet, because the conditions, no one's been getting anywhere near that since. If you think that Thibaut Coudray was the third quickest, 55.77, I don't think he was fifth through. Obstacle number 5. And this is, I think it's Christoph Sandman, isn't it? Yes.
Yes, it is.
Let's see how he gets on here.
Yep, that looks all right. That's good. They're all working together, listening.
See, these are the...
all these knockdowns.
We're going to see Icebrown Chardon in a moment, no doubt coming through 1 and 2. That'll be a marker to see how he gets through the water. It'll be really interesting to see how he does. But here, Christoph Sandman's horses are flying round 5 at the moment.
Whoa, just get out through F and you're away. There they are. That was good too.
Oh, 5. Let's look at the time there.
46.75.
46.75. That's the second quickest so far.
Things are
really
catching up.
Okay, now we're getting... This is where the
Georgian 8, Georgian 8.
Team competition individual on the line as well, as far as the outcome of the European Championships here in Gothenburg. Now there's a real intensity now about every combination going through.
They're all starting just to switch on, aren't they? They're just...
These are the...
Indeed.
Look how quick that was.
Yeah. Out through the line, that's it.
Keep it going.
Oi.
Whoa, just maybe.
That was a real sort of hail a taxi job.
Well, what is that? I mean, I know of jumping. If you're jumping a fence, you hail a cab. What's the driving equivalent?
Same thing, really.
Well, so now this is the pressure points now. Coming into 6 now is Christoph Sandman.
Whoa, oops.
Yeah. I mean, you see how churned up now, and you saw the classic there, the back having to bounce the carriage round.
And it's just sliding.
Yeah. Bits of the obstacles falling down. Look, you see how hard he's having to work to get the carriage round in these churned up conditions.
There he is, he's moving it. You need a good backstep man for this.
Well, and that's where the strength and power is needed. And 53.11 is good, but it's third quickest. And coming to finish.
George von Stein is finished.
George von Stein has finished. We'll get a moment just looking at the slipping down at the moment. The
Edward is in 3.
and we've got times coming through at the moment. Really good start from Edouard Simonet, who's put himself into a strong position. And out on the course.
Through B, now back up to C.
And we're still, Theo Timmerman is yet to start, but IJsbrand Chardon is out on the course as we're watching Edouard Simonet going through the third. And this is now getting what he's had.
Now he's got to whiz down to the tree, I think, round the tree.
He's had the first and second.
Yep, round he goes.
He went through the first obstacle in 50.41, which is the quickest so far. And how's he coming through here?
He's away.
58.42, and that, not the quickest, just lost a bit of time, but I think maybe that's getting harder as now the leader from the dressage, Theo Timmerman, is on his way for section B of this marathon. The final driver out on the final part. It's been an absorbing competition now, and the next half an hour or so are going to be decisive as we pick up the action now with IJsbrand Chardon coming into the water. Haven't got his score through 1 yet, but let's see how he gets on here. Takes the short angle there. Now, this is the... What's he going to do here?
Yeah, he's going out.
Oh, he's gone out completely.
Out and round, yeah.
He's taking a cautious approach through here, is he? Ooh.
Round the end. Through E.
Now F. That's quite quick. I'll tell you what.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yep.
Second quickest.
Yep.
No, third quickest. 55.13. No time as yet through 1. There's obviously been a slower to get through, but 55.13. Third quickest through there. And just looking at Marika Harm's times, she is currently, I think she's taking the more cautious approach, looking through 4. She's not charging through. I think they're working on the course. It's 2 out of 3 scores count.
It is, yeah. So she's playing safe.
Yeah. And there's the barking, distinctive features of IJsbrand Chardon. You know,
his daughter on the back.
Well, now, this is Cousterande. at 8.
Yep.
Pretty consistent. 4th quickest
B.
through 7th.
He's sort of ground to halt there. Come on,
Yeah.
Koos, you've got to keep going.
It's looking very intriguing, I think. Now, there's some fascinating permutations
Yeah,
beginning to
there is.
develop here.
He's got this last bit now around the flower
Just kick on.
things.
Now the turn back.
That's it, he's away. They've done. That's good.
Well,
103. It's not
103
particularly
is not particularly. I wouldn't say that's completely the one he wanted. He just lost it. Never quite.
He lost momentum
Yeah.
in there. They sort of just died on him between two trees. They sort of slowed right down.
Well, so.
We should go back to Chardon, shouldn't we?
Well, I think we probably will in a moment. Just see how it's. George von Stein has finished on. Oh, I think he's had. Didn't go too well for George von Stein because his score, it's saying he's finished on 215.69. So I reckon he's had some.
He's had a problem somewhere.
Yeah, some penalty points somewhere. So that caused some problems, but we're just looking at my scores to see where he might have had some problems. Or maybe that was just a blip on the. Well, no, actually, that was actually my computer corrected itself because he's now gone into the lead on 156.44,
Right.
and Benjamin Ayo, good from him, 158.76. So that's the 1-2. The moment with Joseph Dobrovic in 3rd junior, that is.
This
as
is Sandman flying. Ooh,
through 7.
7, yes.
And he has thrown.
That was quick.
46.27
Yep.
is his score as we pick up now with Ijsbrand coming in. Theo
It's
Timmerman
Theo.
into the water. That's the final person to go through the water.
We didn't see him in 1, did we?
No, but I'll just try and. But anyway, whatever. Let's see how he approaches this seed after.
He's going out.
Yeah. They've obviously maybe what. Oh!
And the horse was going in his own direction.
But actually the slipping.
He did, yeah.
But responded quickly.
They are monkeys. They see a gate. We'll go through that.
Well.
Whether they're meant to or not.
Coming through. All right there now, turning round. It's not bad. It's deceptively quick, even
It
with that
is.
little blip.
Yeah.
But it's going to come out now, galloping out and finishing on 59.55. But given the way that's been churned up over the 21
not bad, is it?
competitors, I think he'll be happy with that.
For a team score. Quite good.
Well, he knows he wants to put the pressure on. And of course, tomorrow we've got the cones, and look how much that's been churned up going through. And so, on his way. George von Stein then sitting out in front at the moment. As we looking at, with Benjamin Ayo, the Dobrovitzes are in 3rd and 4th. Jerome Voutaz, what a speedy round he had, is now moved up from 5th, from 20th spot, but obviously still somehow, but it's still a big league, and I'm sure he won't be far away. He'll be well into the top 10. I mean,
that's good.
But we expected that. But as we watch now,
Sandman, is it?
going through, yes, it's Christoph Sandman going through with George von Stein in the clubhouse, happily done, with a good score. So the Germans looking good, with Marika Ham taking a more get round and make no mistakes or damage limitation. And
These horses are still going strong, aren't they?
They are going really well.
They know they're near home.
That's It's great to see when you see whichever one's got the lead turn, who then takes almost instantly, somehow by training, takes over the control of the lead.
That was lovely.
Yeah.
That was really good.
55.66, and that is a good score there. So actually goes into second spot there. You were absolutely, that's the second quickest.
That's Marika.
I tell you what, I'm in awe of Jerome Vutas. I know he went near the first, but his times are so much quicker than everybody else's, and he is leading 4 of the various obstacles. As we're with Marika Harm, just not trying to do anything silly, just trying to get round and make sure the job is done as we come to the final conclusion. And Edouard Simonet, of course, is out on the course at the moment, and he's got serious aspirations of challenging at the top. Theo Timmerman went through first in 51.34, and Edouard Simonet has just nailed it through 4, I think, with 46.92.
Wow, that's good.
I don't know whether we might get a... that's come through on our scoreboard, so they might show that.
53.72.
If we do, that was quick, but he's heading to 5, but he's picked up now, and this is Theo Timmerman going through 3.
Coming up to A.
That's so smooth.
Back up to the hub, back up the hill.
Out of the shadows, nice afternoon now. Those leaden skies have left us.
D, down the hill again, round the tree on the way round.
Churning up over there. The spectators, they're getting an eye full of mud.
Yeah. There we go.
And on the way.
On the way out now. He's away.
Firing on, what time through? 3:59.33, which is steady. But both his teammates have gone through quicker, Chardon and Durande. It's almost you can again say, right, we'll let you, I can come back, I can afford to be a bit more cautious, perhaps, while you can fly your way around. You know that Eisman and Chardon's not going to do anything else other than fly around. So we're coming towards the end. Marika Harm, I think she has finished with a score, well, no, just waiting where she is at the moment. Christoph Sandman is
just finishing.
Well, we've got a provisional score of 151.82. So that is, just looking at the team competition, seeing what way things are at the moment. Where the scores are working. Well, the Hungarians have obviously gone into the lead, but at the moment, with the French having finished, they've gone behind them on 332. Of the teams that have finished there, and Sweden are currently in 4th, Switzerland 5. What a response, though, from Jerome Vutas today, as we wait the other 3 teams still to post their scores. So Hungary have definitely given themselves a chance now of getting back into the medals with their stunning display from the 2 Dobrovitzes as we watch Marika Harm going through her latest obstacle. Great shots of the horses working hard.
Certainly are.
And there is Edouard Simonet, who is currently on fire out there. But he's the one in a way with the...
Here we go. He's coming into...
This is 6.
It is.
So let's see how he gets on here.
He's going to fly.
He, through 5, he's gone through 47.47, which is quick. Put 4th quickest through there, so he's really on fire here. So he's posting some quick times. Quickest through 4 he was.
Steady, boys.
Oh, no.
He can pull them round. He'll pull them round. There you go. Look, they'll sneak through there.
Sneaking, but that's
That's lost time.
That's lost time. That's costly. But he got out of a jam in the end.
They're good, aren't they?
Yeah, they responded.
They knew what they had to do.
Yeah, they found a way.
Yeah.
Sliding round there. Needs to now pick up if he can.
Let's go back up to E.
This is going to be quite slow. This has, in the end, been a little costly.
Come round.
He's got a
Shot
gap
round right.
through F, getting
That's
round
it.
quickly. Now he can charge out. Slow through there, so not his best. That mistake.
Just a bit quick, wasn't he? Just didn't give them time to...
So, but he's still putting in some good times so far. Well, he's got to put that behind him now and just regroup for the final two. As we pick up with Theo Timmerman through 4, the last driver out on course.
See how Theo does this tight bit in the middle. Be interesting. B. Whoops.
Whoops. Got there in the end. But in a way, he can probably, as we're saying, if you're looking at the team perspective, of course he wants individual, and he wants to make sure...
He'll be wanting to win.
Yeah, we know that, but in a way, as they say, they tend to work, we're a team, but we do our own thing.
That's right.
Because they know that they're clearly all want to win the individual goal. I tell you what, that's good.
It is good. That's it, he's away. 50, 54, 55.
So, all right. Looking down, Christoph Sandman now back is in the lead, having finished. Looking at some of the others out on the course. Icebrunt Chardon. Well, Edward Simonet, that last one's costly, coming through in 65.30, and that was 18th quickest. So that is a... That's, whereas the others, he's been right up there, so he's got to regroup for the final two.
Yeah, he can't afford to make any more mistakes.
No, that is a
In fact, he's got to get his finger out now and just
right. So that actually, just tell you, Marika Harm has finished with a score of 168.05, just coming through, and Icebrunt coming through now. This is 6, isn't it? Yeah. Now this is, see how this was the Edward Simonet corner, wasn't it? And no problem there.
He's all right. He's fine. Up through C. Down to D.
Good so far, isn't it?
Yeah. Whoops.
no worries about knockdowns.
That's fine.
We haven't seen too many, have we?
No.
I think we saw Glenn Gerks was the only one that we, and I think he wasn't happy. But through there in a good time, 52.30. Not bad at all. 3.6, that's third quickest. Dutch at the moment second and third quickest through 6. As Marika Harm, I mentioned her score, we can just see her coming through to the finish. And at the moment, the way the scores have at the moment, we got Germany 1 and 2 on the finished competitors. Christer Rondin third on 157.88 is his final tally. Didn't have a very good final obstacle, where that cost him dear as well, cost him a few points there. Just as Edward Simonet had a problem at 6. And that might be quite costly in the general outcome of things.
Could be.
Because you really can't have, with the quality of the opponents, you cannot afford to have a loss of momentum like that, or an error of control. Now let's see what he can do through 7. We're still in awe, it has to be said, of Jerome Vutez is 41.17 through 7, where the dancers are standing still. Another group of dancers, it looks like, have been called into operation, but he needs now to absolutely fly round here. He cannot afford an error. And he is flying around.
They're
here
going
at the moment.
really
They're
well for
going
him.
now. He's regrouping.
They're listening.
And they've got to keep this up. I like this. Now this is quick.
Very.
This might be helping him to recover his momentum.
There you go. He's away.
He's away, but it's not. Well, Jerome Vutas was a flying machine run there, but that's much better. 45.78 through 7. And that is the second quickest time, beating von Seiner, and he will be livid with that error at 6.
It was just one of those things. Speed sometimes in the mud.
Well, but then you see how IJsbrand went through it, dealt with it. I mean, it's experience, I suppose. You just learn, because these would be reasonably familiar conditions that they'd have to contend with.
Oh, yeah. But in England, well, when we're in England, we do mud.
Yeah. Well, and we are in Sweden where it does rain every so often.
They call it Little London, Gothenburg, don't they? Because it rains a lot.
Well, it did rain heavily on Thursday night. As we watch Theo Timmerman.
Theo, yeah, going well.
Through 5.
Horses are listening now. Their leaders are going where they're meant to.
And
that was good. 51.77.
Through 5.
Yeah.
Well, that's another. He's not setting the world alight, but he's doing enough.
He's just got to be quick and safe, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Just to retain his lead.
Spectators leaving that obstacle because he is the final one through. Now, I'll be intrigued to see how Edouard Simonet gets on in 8, because that was, apart from 6, and 6 and 3 have cost him dear, because he's been 11th quickest through 3 and 18th quickest, 19th quickest through 6. Now
right.
This is
IJsbrand, Chardon.
Through 7.
Yep.
Oh, let's see what he can do here. Obviously with gold medal on his mind.
They haven't got the enthusiasm that Edouard's horses have they?
No.
They're probably just as quick, but they don't look as though they're...
No, you feel like IJsbrand Chardon is having to work a little harder. Now through E.
F down the bottom, he is quick.
It's going to be really quick.
Yeah.
That's second quickest. That is.
Yeah, that was really good.
But it was your case. He is deceptively quick, isn't he? Yeah. Those horses.
Yeah.
44.55. That's a big move. There's a big response over the last 10 minutes with Edouard Simonet making that mistake at 6. And we're into 6 now for Theo Timmerman.
Oh dear. We're rearranging the flowers again.
Well,
that's it.
That's a little costly.
Yeah,
6 is being influential.
It has.
And IJsbrand Chardon has taken advantage of an error by not only his compatriot Theo Timmerman, but an error by Edouard Simonet at the B part of obstacle 6.
For Germany in number 1 and 2 positions. Christoph Sandman, 1-5-1.
So we'll just be looking forward to seeing.
It's got to go up to E, through E, and then back round.
Key
to
moments now.
Let's just hope he doesn't. Oh dear.
Gave it a big. Well, he's the last through anyway, so it's going to be taken down after this anyway. And I think he was doing the initial striking of the. But he's through there. It's slow. That's slow.
That carriage just swung out and hit that, didn't it?
Just churning up in the conditions. You can see now the roads also now with all the carriages coming out. He's looking up at that, probably a little bit frustrated. Now, Edouard Simonet in 8. He needs to absolutely go mistake-free. It was costly at 6, responded at 7 with a good time, but IJsbrand Chardon has been on fire for the last 2 obstacles and is putting the pressure. And Edouard Simonet must remain mistake-free. And so far, it's pretty smooth. Quickest time through 8 is Jerome Voutaz of 53 seconds. Christophe Salmon was 55. Edward Simonet, what could he do here? Coming through it. Looking good.
Don't want any knockdowns down either.
Hanging on
This
in
is
there.
last bit, look.
Keep it going.
Yeah,
Kick on.
around that drain pipe.
It's not bad.
It's good. Come on, go.
Gallop to the line, and it is 55.86. That's the third quickest time in the 8th and final obstacle. Jerome Voutaz quickest. Christophe Salmon was also flying through 8, but Edouard Simonet will be ruining the mistake at 6, because that has cost him dear. That one error going towards the B gate in 6,
Yeah.
and also a little bit of an error out on 3 as well, means that Edouard Simonet is going to be left, I think, feeling a little frustrated, as Ijsbrand Chardon is going to be coming
He's in 8.
in 8 already. And let's see what he can do. The penultimate driver out on course. He's got typically quicker and more efficient throughout the test.
Horses are going nicely, but they're deceptive, as you say.
Working so well as a team.
As you see, the D at the other end.
Working so well up front. And then a little quick correction, but they respond immediately. The wheelers generating the power. Nothing going wrong at this stage.
Ooh, that's good.
Tell you what, that's another quick one.
That is quick.
But it's not going to be as quick as Edouard Simonet, just a couple. Well, that will help from an Edouard Simonet point of view, but for Ijsbrand Chardon, the 6th quickest time through 8, 57.14, and just Theo Timmerman to go now out on the course. So starting to take shape here, and Edouard Simonet is on a score of 151.5. Waiting for that to be confirmed, but he's gone into the lead. Now it's obviously just a question of where Ijsbrand Chardon's going to go, with waiting for his score to come through, and how much is the gap going to be in the cones, which is bound to be so influential. And the dancers have done their thing.
They're
finished. And
no, they haven't.
Oh, no.
Theo's coming in.
Theo Timmerman, and you can see that 41 point. I'm still in awe of that time. 3 seconds quicker than Ijsbrand Chardon. Jerome Voutaz through 7. But Theo Timmerman, it's been not quite his day. He hasn't been able to find the zip that Chardon and some of the others had. So his lead, I think, is in danger. And there's an example. They just didn't quite respond.
Just hesitating, aren't they? The leaders are just not being as quick as they could be.
Now to E. Ooh. He's through that. F now, and you can see the time now is not going to be outstanding, but solid, I think. Anything through in 49.81 through 7. So, well, looking at the moment, we've got Edouard Simonet leading by on 151.5, Christophe Sandman in second on 151.82, George von Stein on 156.44. That is
slowly walking in, because I think he's a bit early.
Right. So, Ijsbrand Chardon just waiting. He doesn't want to pick up. And he's, well, I think he's obviously getting the score.
He's okay.
He's okay.
He can go in now.
Yeah. And he's happy. The traditional fist in the air, the pump, because he knows that was good. And I think it was what he did at 6 in the end became the decisive obstacle today. 6 proved to be influential at the top.
There's always a bogey one, isn't
Yeah.
there? There's
Well,
one obstacle that
just
creates
caused a problem for Edouard Simonet, but not for this man, who has just waiting on confirmation of what's that going to do to the score. And of course the team competition as well. The scores that will count clearly will be his and Custoronda's as far as the team competition is concerned. So that's going to be a significant. And also from the individual point of view, Edouard Simonet clearly now has got himself in a position to challenge for.
Well, it would be good if he
Well,
could just...
he looks like he's on course for
Yeah.
it. You know, well,
Yeah.
obviously depends on what happens tomorrow. And given that the narrow margin between him and Christoph Sandman, there is a lot at stake tomorrow in the cones. But,
It's good when it's a good competition with 3 or 4 at the top.
well, and that
So
one,
very often after a marathon, you've got one with about 8 points in the lead, and you think, oh,
well,
you know, it makes a good competition when they all, like today, that they've been
Well,
so good
now,
after
okay.
dressage.
there are 147.37 is Icebrein Chardon's lead over. You have to score 151.5. So what does that mean in terms of cones knocking down tomorrow, timing-wise? Not
Well, how many balls have you got in hand?
Yes,
Divide it by 3.
He's got 1. He's got 2. Oh, he's got
Two.
1. He's got 1 basically.
One and a couple of time penalties, probably.
Yeah. So so therefore it's not guaranteed.
No.
But so there is definitely going to be some drama tomorrow because Christoph Sandman's in the mix. But where's Theo Timmerman going to finish as the last competitor going through the last obstacle on Marathon Day at the Longines FEI European Championships in Gothenburg, attended by thousands of spectators enjoying their time in the park in the heart of the city.
Yeah.
And the drivers were applauded all the way on Section A through the streets of the city, and they've been cheered all the way around the course as well, enthusiastically. Not been a great day for the Swedish drivers, but as we've seen throughout the week, they've encouraged every athlete in all disciplines and enjoyed.
Come on, Theo.
He's looking at the time. It's all right, but nothing overly spectacular. Getting the job done.
Excellent.
An exercise in damage limitation, and he is finished in just over a minute. So, just looking at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Custerond, just a question of where Theo Timmerman is going to finish. And it's interesting that Icebrein Chardon's sort of bogey obstacle was 4, but he only had the 1 bogey obstacle, whereas Edouard Simonet has had a
blip.
If he hadn't have done that, if he not had that, I mean, okay, sport's about ifs and buts and maybes.
Yep. You always need a bit of luck.
And he will, I'm sure, be ruining that. Try and look at an idea of where it's going on the team competition at the moment. See what's happening there. Germany, it's Germany, Belgium, and we're just waiting on where the Dutch will finish at the moment in terms of the order, but clearly they're going to be out in front. And
what about the Hungarians?
Well, they're in 6th, it looks like. Because as the team, Sweden in 5, so, and then you've got France in 4. They've had a good day, but we're just waiting on the final team classifications. But there is Theo Timmerman.
He's come home. They've all come home. They've had no carriages over.
If you were your friend Barry, the course designer, what would he be thinking?
Phew.
Well, that
went all right, didn't it?
I mean, how do you think it rode?
I think they drove very well.
and because then there were the occasional, it tested.
It did.
And here is Theo Timmerman coming back in.
Yeah, he'd be quite relieved that everybody's home safe and sound, and they've driven well, and they haven't smashed and bashed anything. Well, very few posts were collided with.
Yeah. And I didn't see too many knockdowns either.
No.
Not obviously.
The grey team had about 4 down, didn't they?
There was.
But that was it.
That was and that's why he's last. I think the Austrian.
The Austrian guy.
He struggled in the conditions. That was Andreas Rashitska. That was early on. But here comes Theo Timmerman into the finish area, walking gently past in, and no doubt will be reflecting. And there's Ijsbrand, our leader, thumbs up. And what a thrilling exhibition of carriage driving it was from him when he really needed to. He kept the pressure on.
His girls on the back.
Yeah. Well, they look happy. Here come the text messages, and but they know that they've got to be on fire tomorrow, that's for sure, as we pick out some of the highlights on this from our leader, Ijsbrand Chardon, who was imperious at times and just deceptively quick, but that is so often the case as he's going there through the difficult water obstacle. Number 2, that got very difficult to get through, Sally, didn't it?
It did, and he just kept them going forward, didn't he? He didn't take any clever turns, he just kept moving.
And it was towards the end and his round, and there is coming out at 8.
Yeah, there's Edith, his daughter.
Yeah. And look, she's the adrenaline coursing through her face. You could see that she has nailed it, and there is the interviews being conducted at the end. But terrific entertainment in the park here in Gothenburg, and waiting on the news of where the scores are finishing in terms of the Dutch, just waiting for that to come through. But still, it was in terms of the well, the 1, 2, 3 on the individuals, according to my scores, waiting for confirmation. It's Ijsbrand Chardon, 147.37. Edward Simonet is moved into silver position on 151.5. And Christoph Sandman is currently in bronze medal position on 151.82. Theo Timmerman is on 155.73. So, all to play for tomorrow.
Nothing in it, is there?
Nothing.
That's really good.
So we're set up for a thrilling climax tomorrow. Plenty of other entertainment going on here today. We've got the conclusion of the dressage, the freestyle, the top 15, and Isabel Wirth trying to go for a 3rd gold medal of the week. And that'll be taking place in the Ullevi Arena, about 5 kilometers away from this park, which is now being emptied as people wend their way back into the city, having thoroughly enjoyed the driving, the marathon. And when you look over the scores overall, you then look at Jerome Vutas to be 4 out of 8.
Yeah.
I mean, you're an experienced marathon watcher, Sally. That's quite good, isn't it?
It's very good. And the thing is, he uses those horses indoors and outdoors. He hasn't got an indoor team and an outdoor team. They do it all.
Oh, well.
And he's isn't he a garage mechanic?
Yes, by trade, yes.
And he just does this as a hobby.
Well, he's doing his hobby very well. But most significantly, though, when it comes to the medals, he won't be winning medals here. But he did win medal, of course, in the indoor when he was 2nd in the World Cup final here in Gothenburg, but earlier this year. But as far as the individual concerned, it's a battle between the Dutch, the Belgians, and Germans from individual medals. And it will also be a battle between in the team competition, Belgium and Germany, and also the Netherlands tomorrow. But Netherlands very much in pole position to defend their gold medal title. They won 2 years ago in Aachen. and of course have been so dominant, such an experienced trio, and we saw that today, the way that Theo Timmerman just went about his business, and he's not completely out of a chance. He's on course. He can certainly think about a medal prospect. 155.73.
Yep.
So,
It's good.
who is winning tomorrow? Ijsbrand?
He might do. I would like Edward Simone to win.
Well, we would maybe like, but just looking at Christoph Sandman
We'll see, won't we?
going through the second obstacle here. He's in bronze medal position, following his drive. A good drive it was too.
Yes, it was. Very good drive.
And having started the day in fifth, behind his Marika Ham, the sole lady driver, but I think she took a more cautious approach, looking at the overall team position, and just sort of, right, it was going to be more likely that they were going to have the impact today. But here's Edouard Simonet, again, going through, and it was at 6 ultimately. Here he's going through 4, where he was the quickest going round through 4 in 46.92. Flew round here, but I'm sure as he reflects on his round, it will be the errors at 6 ultimately that will have cost him dear. But it's this man who, at this obstacle, having Edouard Simonet a few moments before had the problem at the B gate, it was Ijsbrand Chardon who smoothly went round this particular moment. That was where Edouard Simonet may have lost the gold medal position. But look how good that was. The longer the test went on through section B, Ijsbrand Chardon got better and better.
He just kept them going forward in the mud, didn't he?
He did. So that's the 3-2-1 at the moment. What a day. Thank you very much, Sally, for joining me here on the second day. But we'll be back for the cones tomorrow, the final day of the driving here in Gothenburg. It's the final day of competition as well in the European Championships that are taking place here. But it's been a thrilling afternoon, a wonderful day's entertainment in the park, through the water, through the mud, but ultimately real drama, and enjoyed by huge galleries, and they've enjoyed every minute of the day here. Spectacular it looked too, and the horses cheered on their way through the streets. Not such a good day for the Swedes, just didn't quite sparkle as they probably had hoped. But it was great seeing the carriages being cheered on their way through the first section, through the city, and then arriving at the, and there's Marika Ham, not quite her best day, but I think it was a team day as far as she was concerned.
She's contributed to the team scores
Well,
where required. She did a good dressage and a safe marathon.
Well, he contributes wherever he goes.
He does, doesn't he?
He's the main man at the moment. Will he be the main man tomorrow? From us all here in Gothenburg, thank you for watching. Thank you, Sally. Back again tomorrow. Don't miss it.